Okay, so for a little bit of a recap, due to us not having a recording again last session,
Rip.
Big rip. So y'all decided to spend like 80% of the session.
Shopping.
No, shopping was 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Last week was the interrogation of Bram.
Yeah.
In which you guys
Bram 2.
went in to, Bram number 2 of this campaign, went in and spoke with him and had a little bit of fun. A lot of mental messing with him. I think there was a zone of truth, detect thoughts, 2 nat 20s on either insight or performance, a shape shift into his brother, among multiple other things. Just utterly messing with this dude's head. And after all of that, and getting as much information as you could, specifically about the huntsman, and kind of what you guys can expect from them, how he said that there's a group of 3 legendary hunters, specifically people generally sent out for the higher ticket missions, and how he believes that likely, with you guys having killed 2 of the lesser groups of the huntsmen, will now be put on a special list as to not be hunted by said lesser groups, as to not lose more people. And instead, on another list, of which you're dealing with much more dangerous people at this point. Because, you don't want to just send all of your weak dudes after a powerful group and then all of them die. So
Epic fuck you list.
the epic fuck you list that you guys have managed to land yourself on. So,
You may not touch my
after this conversation, Nibs, as a gift and apology to Trake, helped Trake get Bram out of Karis Undervale's tower and out of the city. At which point Warden was also there and you guys gave him some gold and some other stuff. And he promised not to actively go out of his way to interfere with you guys in the future and would only do his duty of telling the story of what happened and make up a lie of how he got away. But there was a mutual respect between him and those who released him at the end of it, even though you guys killed his brother, which he wasn't very happy about. So, after that whole altercation, moving on through that, before you guys took a long rest that evening, Nibs and Nari had a bit of a heart-to-heart talking about each other's backstory, and got a little emotional. It was great.
Do you like this?
And Nibs, after everyone else had decided this is what we're doing, we're going to the elemental plane of fire, finally committed to at least going to the elemental plane of fire, but after that, he's done with this mission for the Titans. That is what was stated in the previous session, unless I
He would go to the
misremembering.
plane for. He would. Yeah.
He'll go to the plane of fire specifically for Nari as a helping hand for her vengeance. But afterwards, he will return to their original mission, which is beginning a rebellion on Darren. As that is what he is here for.
He's real grumpy.
Huh?
He's real grumpy.
He's real grumpy. That baby boy, real grumpy. And after that, speaking with Ventar, you guys got a teleport back to Karth with him. So at this point, you guys have 2 full days, because you got there in the morning. So you have 2 full days of stuff, and then that 3rd morning is when your contacts with the Consortio should be arriving,
Okay.
if memory serves me correctly.
We also received 500 platinum.
Yeah, so
4
superiors.
superior, 4 great health potions, 4 superior, 12 standard, 1 speed, and a
One
potion of
fly.
fly.
Yeah, that's a lot of potions.
I don't
AKA.
know potions. How are we divvying that up? Is Warden just taking most? Warden?
No,
No.
he doesn't have any.
He doesn't have any of them. They were given to Nibs. So as a general rule of thumb, Warden probably would let you guys have the majority of them, but would keep some on him as tools of resuscitation in case he didn't
Not
have spell
bad.
slots.
Okay.
Because more than not, he will not need them. So you guys can divvy them however you wish.
How do you guys want to do it? I think I would say let's the four of us. Let's all take one of the superior.
Yeah.
Healing potions. Let's give 2 greats to Warden, and then divide up the rest. That way, because he is a healer and he can use his bonus action to give someone a great healing one.
To give someone, you have to use your action.
Well, he can use his action since he just died on the last one.
So we're doing superiors?
Superior to everyone but Warden. Warden will take 2 of the greater. And I'd say it would probably make the most sense for somewhere along the lines of Nari and Mikhail to take the other 2 graders, considering you 2 are generally the ones taking the most damage. Because Nibs, while he's also on the front line taking a lot of damage, is oftentimes wild-shaped.
Yeah.
So he does not need that healing as much.
Okay, so
And Drake avoids damage.
we need
He's talented.
everybody gets 1 superior potion of healing.
And you get 1 greater as well.
You said
And
her
then-
and I both get a grade?
Yeah. You guys both get a greater. And then for the regular health potions, I would just say everyone take 3.
Alright, I'm going to.
And I'll add this stuff to Warden's sheet.
Should probably turn off the extra camera. It's gonna kill the bandwidth.
Your vanity is sucking up my
My
bandwidth.
bandwidth.
Oh wow,
It's
that
a great
came out
line.
almost cute.
What?
Sorry, this.
I'm less cute.
So I made a. I'm working on trying to create the droid character, and then I took the image, had a couple, downloaded it, and then I put it back on top of his art drawing, and blended the 2 together, and they're coming out actually very almost cute.
It looks like a Robo Dobby in that one.
Yeah, that was what I was like.
I expected to get onto the Midjourney and see a picture that you posted there. Instead, I see Squidward.
I see Squidward.
Oh no, she's hot.
Yeah, I'm not there yet. Sorry, I'm.
Oh, you good?
Okay, so Warden has
I'm
his
excited.
added. And then the other 2, which is a potion of speed
And fly.
Oh,
and
I'm
a
in-
potion of flying.
Oh, I'm not even on my character. I'm on the wrong. Golly, I'm such a slacker. All right.
Where do you think Nibs would divvy those to?
You have wings. He assumes you fly anyway.
What?
He's a little. He doesn't. You're a bird. You can fly.
Can you actually?
Nope.
Of course not. But you're a
that's
bird.
why he chose the Kinku form, is because Kinkus normally don't fly.
But
Since he can't fly, he was like, I'm just going to be a flightless bird.
so I
Nice,
mean, and
nice.
you can glide with style.
Why didn't we choose an ostrich?
This is falling with style. That's the same thing he can do in his dragon form. So
well.
um
Look who decided to show up.
Hello, Thomas.
That's the deepest I've ever heard you speak.
It's rare.
Yeah.
He can't go any deeper.
Hello.
His balls still have not dropped.
Not far enough, apparently.
Yeah. I'm in college.
The rest of my clothes.
That's all you need.
Those are Zach's socks, for one. I can find you a pair of socks. Your clothes are in there.
In here?
Yes.
Bro, stop trying to steal my socks, okay? Twitch streamers do that.
It's
not
okay,
me.
he stole JP's underwear like a year ago and we still have it.
Nice. Oh, that's the one you want.
How many potions did you guys say again?
So 3
None for
regular
Drake.
health potions and 1 superior for Drake.
Superior.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, 3 normal, 1 superior is what you just said?
Yeah.
You get 1 superior.
Got it. Interesting.
Which the superior will be an 8d8 plus 8. Or 8d4 plus 8.
I was like, hold up, what? This is an
Since
ultra.
when?
This is a ultra
No,
superior.
everything's in d4s, but the then the supreme is like 16, and that's the biggest one. 16d4 plus
shucks.
16.
I attuned Wait, yeah, that's right. Because you gave me a ring of fire resistance.
Because she already had immunity. She had triple
Yeah.
resistance up to that point.
10d4.
So if
Is this
Nibs,
extended?
Okay.
if Nibs gets the
What's the
tattoo
greater?
of fire resistance, then
Greater
would he
is
have
4.
wearing the ring be immune to fire?
Yes.
Period.
Double resistance will equal immunity for me.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. One tattoo.
One tattoo. Okay, well,
You have a tattoo?
in Karth, which is where we are now, I will have you roll an investigation to see if you could find a place that does something like that. Because Karth is a very, very underdeveloped city.
Yes. Investigation is a. Too bad it's not insight. My
Okay, go.
intelligence is a flat 0.
Now, if you tried to do that in the City of Brass, you might have different results. But City of Brass is a lot larger and a lot more dangerous to just be maneuvering around inside. Which we'll get to more details about the City of Brass that Nari and Mikhail would know. Because they have different knowledge sets. Because one lived in it, but as a child. One visited it as an adult. So one will know a little bit more about the logistics
400
side.
something? Or was that Nibs?
What?
Nibs is 400
This
something.
is 400 or something. Technically, I don't know because he's been on so many planes, and on some planes time
Time is
moves
different.
differently.
The Feywild particularly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew that.
It's all that timey-wimey bullshit.
Love it.
So he's not entirely sure how old he is at this point. He's very old though.
So, 2 days. 2 days. That's what you guys got before people from Karth arrive, which is what you're really needing.
Aren't we on the way there already?
We
Or
You are at
We're
Karth.
in
Oh,
Karth.
nice.
He
We
teleported
You are
there.
in Karth. You guys said you do not want to stay at Ventar's Manor, and that you were going to find your own stay. I was assuming that you guys would go back to the Whale's Call, which was the tavern that you had previously stayed at, or
I want brownies.
went to,
I need
and
to
that
stock
is where
up on
brownies were, and that is where the Strongbacks were, which was a group of barbarians that seemed to have started up their own tavern.
We're known there. Are we wanting to go hang out at a place where bounty hunters know we've been before?
Yes. I want brownies.
He wants brownies, at the very least.
We can, if you're worried about us going back and being noticed, I can just become someone else and go get brownies.
You guys call them that, but
I don't have to go as Mihail, but I am going.
I want more drugs.
Why don't you, change into somebody else and you'll be fine?
Well, there are not that many taverns, so if you guys aren't staying at Ventar's, there are only so many places to go. When I say Karth is an underdeveloped city, I mean 80% of it is still scaffolding.
so yeah. So one of the things Nibs would want to do would talk to the guy. Now that we're free, he was going to want to find out specifically what would it cost to buy property, get property? Is it just throw up a shanty? How does that work?
Who would you be at? Ventar?
Yes, before we left, talking with Ventar and them because asking, because we had a little bit of time, and then we get there. It's like, who would I need to discuss with this? Who would I need to talk to? Is it expensive? Is it cheap? Can anyone just buy a place? In those regards.
Ventar kind of props up and he goes and grabs a book, a pretty thick book that appears to have some legislative stuff in it, and he kind of sets it down on a little coffee table you guys are sitting around, and says, the answer is complicated and simple at the same time. It is complicated because technically, no one can buy property lest they have specific documents approved by the Dwendalian courts. And what that would require is you going to the courthouse, which is at this point pretty much where they sell the slaves. Register for documentation and by the time everything comes through, they'll know of your indentured servitude towards me, because unless you spend a year developing a false identity, you would be unable to get it past the Gwendalian Empire. They have very, very good records and recordings of what has occurred for all of those who are here. No one has yet come to Dairn that has not been specifically noted as being here, other than those who can just teleport willy-nilly around the world.
But someone who's already gone through the process, would they be able to sell or speculate on lands, or is that something that has to jump through more hoops?
As I said, it requires a permit to buy the land anywhere
Even
here.
from someone who already owns it? Not
Yes.
going through that.
The owner has to have a permit, and so does the new buyer. They're wanting to have just a stranglehold over this new world up until the point that it is completely cultivated.
I'm gonna kind of look over at you and give you a wink and go. So it sounds like that's out of the options. Thank you.
Unless you find someone very willing to go outside of the law.
Alright. Well, nix that idea. And after we leave, go through and leave his thing, I'm going to look at you and go, we need to find some low-level schmuck to kill. You take his farm and then we'll move in.
Okay.
Direct as always.
Because it says, we need a base of operations that can't be tracked back to us, apparently. And if he's got the line, then we got the line. There's got to be some low-level guy we can take out who's done all this shit.
Okay.
Always like adding faces to the closet.
That is creepy.
That's
as
such a
fuck.
weird thing to think of.
That
Like
is
a
so
mental closet, just
creepy.
be like, yes, this is the one I need. Take the face.
Man's
off
got
the
his mental
nails.
palace, but it's just a whole bunch of mannequins with faces of different people.
Ugh.
Oh, it's
I-
Arya Stark. He
I
puts on the
see-
skin.
Oh, that's
Literally the Hall of Faces.
nasty. Yeah,
I can't remember. Is that what they call
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
Yeah.
The Hall of Faces, and there's just faces.
that's weird.
On the
That
wall.
is
That's
so
exactly what I
That's,
think of.
that's literally just like his identity inside. Like, that's his happy place. He just goes in there and
That's
there's
worse
all
than
of
it's your
these
happy
faces.
place.
I was gonna say,
It's his culture.
you
That
had me
makes
until
you a
happy
psychopath.
place. You had me until happy place.
But you gotta keep in mind, you can't
But
judge
all
him.
the
It's
faces
cultural.
are smiling.
It's a
Exactly.
racial feat.
It's a,
This
exactly.
is something that makes him special.
Okay, well, of the most racist of us here, that should be your problem.
Nibs doesn't know this. I'm just saying this.
Okay, so we have a little idea of what Nibs and Mikhail might be doing. Nari, Trek, Warden. You guys have 2 days in Karth, a very underdeveloped city, as I've said multiple times. So you can't just be like, oh, I want to go to the clubs for a couple days. There's the taverns. That's all you got. And there are very, very few of them.
It's
You are...
underdeveloped, but is it developing?
It is developing. Yes, during the day there is a 10-hour work day in which there are somewhere around 12 to 20,000 slaves out and about working on building this place.
Got it.
So,
Nori's gonna spend the better part of one of the days at least trying to recall everything she can about the city of Brass.
Okay, what we're going to go ahead and do is go ahead and roll me a history check. And
I was going to say, before she does this, if she's going to mention this, can Nibs give her one of his paired journals back to the library and ask them if she's having trouble that she can reference things with the library? Because that's information the library might have. That way she could roll
Yeah.
advantage.
I was going to give her some kind of bonus, but that would give her just flat out advantage.
So
Okay.
Nibs will give you. He's like, this goes back to the library on the main line. He says, and he's gonna jot down. He goes, we need information on this. I'm gonna hand you over to the expert we have. And so
Gotcha.
anything you need in that is gonna be available.
Okay.
And so that will also rely on the swiftness of an arcanist or librarian at the Azure Sky Libraries based in Jelkoa.
Yeah. But I would assume if they were willing to go in on a thing for blood.
Well, this is a consortium mission that has the backing of 1 or 2 members of the Azure Sky Library. So go ahead and you can roll me a history check with advantage.
Okay. Okay, so 17.
Plus
17?
anything?
No, 14 plus 3.
14 plus 3.
Okay, so what specifically is Nari trying to discover? Or rediscover?
Nari's trying to remember, for one, where her father's house was located, where she stayed, and then if she can remember any conversations about the devil that she has in mind, about I think Kethrak, and who she might remember that he would have talked to or would have known something about his whereabouts or schedule or anything like that.
Okay, so what we're going to do real quick is I'm going to pull something up. And I am going to have you go ahead and just make me a flat intelligence check, which I guess is the same as your history, so we can call this another history check. Okay.
Oh,
With
At advantage,
that
though.
wasn't great. I honestly don't know what that was.
Go ahead and roll
I
2 more.
apologize. You said advantage?
Advantage.
Advantage? Okay.
16.
Oh.
So we got a 17 and a 16.
I'm not doing great.
So, as you're trying to remember the sections of the city, certain things come to mind. The furnace, the foundry, the Kefin spires, Ventia. You remember some parts of the city. You remember specifically that you lived in the foundry. And that the nobles, the Sultan, lives in the furnace at the top of the hill on this brass plate. I'm just going through these mental checklists. In terms of location, that's the primary thing you remember. You remember going to some markets and the slave market and around to the plume and such, but you don't remember exact locations as well. It was mostly home that you remembered, the Hasserine estates, where you lived, and where your father often spent time.
Do I remember any people that might be of benefit to us when we get there? Might have the information that I'm looking for?
Those of whom in the document that I have sent you, you would remember.
Okay, just those ones.
Just those ones. You don't remember much outside of the estates itself. You don't even know if those people are still alive, because it is 20 years in the future.
Do I remember where these people are located?
Yes, they're all inside Hasserine estates.
Oh, okay.
They work as facilitators for that estate that moves slaves and processes them.
Okay.
In terms of the devil, you remember the name and the title specifically. Ketharak the Most Knowing. You just thinking of it, that's what comes to mind. You only ever saw him once, but it was etched into your mind. Just this blue-scaled, draconic-esque devil with massive horns spiraling out in just this cacophony of spikes coming from these horns. Two closed in, almost like crippled wings on his back. Hunched over, almost old, looking just decrepit. Not like he could physically do much. But the one time you met him, Nari has never felt a sense of impunity and just weakness than she did as a child when around him. Even with her father, who is far, far larger than the average of Freet, this creature, barely larger than her at the time, was far more capable of instilling dread in her than any of the fighter genies, any of the Afridi. In terms of how he's connected with your father, you remember the titles around it, that being the Ring of Smoldering Chains, or the ring that Asnari knew was pretty much the people in the city that were tasked with moving slaves and making a profit for the city. Your father and this devil were both a part of it. Let me pull up this document real quick. What other things does Nari have interest in?
There are. Can I think of any potential weaknesses that my father might have? Any?
Go ahead
people
and
he
roll me
cares
an
for?
insight at disadvantage. Because you're rolling with the insight of an 8-year-old in the past.
Yeah. No, fair.
What? You mean it's not triple advantage?
Oh fuck! The second one was a 26.
Oh, it's
Oh wait, no. What was it? As insight?
Yeah.
Yeah, 6. Fuck. Damn.
You didn't spend much time with your father.
Yeah.
He was a very, very busy man. A lot of time in meetings. A lot of times. One moment. I don't know why it's asking me if I need to share. I set it to anyone who has link should be able to get into it.
It said request edit access.
Oh, were you able to do it?
I am now.
Okay. There's a lot in there. It'll take you some time to read through.
Well, I've glazed over it, but I'm like,
Really looking at it now.
yeah.
So, what was your question again?
Weaknesses my
Weaknesses of
father
your
might
father.
have. I didn't spend a lot of time with him though.
Yeah, you did not spend a lot of time with him, and you know that he cares a lot about money. He's very, very greedy, and very, very prideful. But outside of that, those can be weaknesses, but those are also major strengths in the Afrit way. So, dependent upon how you can manipulate that, they could be weaknesses or strengths.
You said money and what else? I'm sorry.
Pride.
I'm prejudiced.
And zombies.
And zombies.
That was actually a really funny movie. Did you watch that?
I want to.
It was literally
I need to.
amazing. It was
Okay,
so
so real quick before we go any farther, I've decided to officially add it. We've rolled it a couple times, but luck.
Okay.
So what I'm gonna have everyone do is go ahead and roll a d20,
A D20?
a singular d20,
Oh.
and I will assign modifiers for each of you dependent upon how I see your characters.
8.
8, you're a 10. So just I'm gonna add the luck skill at 10.
Okay.
8.
8. I'm gonna keep Trake at an 8. I don't think
Okay.
Trake is a naturally lucky creature.
Oh, really?
That I'm honestly makes sense.
I don't want to go next. You go next.
Copy that.
Damn.
I rolled a 15.
A 15, so Warden's gonna have a 16. So he'll have a +3 to luck. Just go, Mikhail.
14.
14.
Right beside the 20.
Yeah, Mikhail's gonna have a 15.
Same thing.
The same thing. There are, over time, dependent on how things go, you may increase or decrease in these skills.
At the bottom right here. Skills manage.
11, so you're gonna have a 12.
Where custom skills.
So you're gonna have that +1.
Add custom skills.
And
So
so
wait, do I put it in the miscellaneous bonus, the magic
a
bonus?
custom skill. So you add it to, as a custom skill. I can,
No, okay, I got that, but like, where do I put in the number?
So
What
what
you
you
put
would
it in parentheses.
so you would put your number in the name, and then you do your override and put in like
You
a
can put your
zero.
override. You're at a
Okay,
0,
that's-
so you don't have to do anything.
Oh,
You're already at a 0.
That's how I do it.
wait, I thought it was a 10.
Which
So a 10 is a +0, and 12
Oh.
is a +1.
Oh, okay.
So it's the same rounding as your stats.
we're just doing the math
I did
ourselves.
not know that's how we did that.
So, yeah, I'm back at a.
Who keeps stealing the damn trash can?
Who took
Okay,
the
I
trash
put it
can?
back there because I didn't want
Okay.
James to
I'm
unplug
so
all
glad I
that.
didn't roll that earlier. Who?
Okay, so Claire, roll me a luck check.
Maybe I got the 8, 7. 17.
17
Plus
Finally
0.
a good one.
+0. Okay, so
Do I do
after some time,
override magic bonus?
No, okay.
Stat.
What was his?
you rolled a 16.
16 says +3.
Yeah, it'll be a +3.
That's
Okay.
how I set mine up. So do luck parentheses what your number
Yeah,
is,
plus
and then the override.
override. Okay, 3.
There you
Boy.
go. And then just get out of
And I'm not proficient.
You are not proficient.
Oh, I need to turn that off.
it. Don't push it. Just get out.
I haven't turned that off. My.
There you
I'm not.
go. Okay.
So
Proficiency
with my
is
luck.
the luck.
you find yourself in communication after a time with an arcanist Allura, an elvish woman who seems to have a specific interest in the elemental planes, and therefore the book was given to her as.
I was rating his burp. I apologize. Keep going.
Say it with pride.
I give it a 4.
There we go.
Poor mofo.
Exactly.
Take your word.
So, after some time, in discussion, she keeps trying to describe to you different sections of the city. And Nari has no clue what she's talking about.
Okay.
And with a luck of 17, which is very, very high, Allura is so frustrated that you hear a behind you. And wherever you are at that time, you find a small rolled up piece of parchment behind
A
you.
map. It's a map. Fuck yes.
And there behind you is sitting a map of the city of Brass.
Oh,
Go.
that's legit.
So this is the city of Brass.
We are so screwed.
Of some of the places that have already been mentioned. There we go. The furnace. I'm standing in his way. The furnace is here. This is the noble center of the city. And the foundry is the place where the Hasserine Estates is, which is here. There are some other places. Mikhail, do you want to go ahead and roll me a history check? Even though he's not thinking of it now, information for him to have later.
I mean, I would say that, like, as I recall things, I'm either writing them down or talking to people who are nearby about
Yeah.
it.
Well, how I see this, you're probably at a tavern or something, going over this information, and they are
They're
out
out
and about.
shopping, right? Yeah.
They're out and about doing stuff.
Got it.
So go ahead and roll that whenever.
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20. Okay. So Mikhail knows a little bit more on the legislative side of things. So, in terms of entering the city of Brass, there are but only 2 ways, and one of them is retarded, and the other is stupidly dangerous. As a planeswalker, you can either come in from the outside of the city, and you must go through one of the gates. And you will be recorded and noted down as someone who has entered the city, specifically because they like to know who's coming in and out of their city. If you don't, pretty much any infraction made while inside the city that they do not have registration of said person making the infraction, you will be enslaved or killed immediately. And there is nearly no hesitation from this.
Alright.
A specific thing that he denotes of his about week that he spent there is the curfew. Around 8 to 8:30 p.m. on average, bells start to be rung by the Illuminated. The Illuminated being the city guard of nearly 50,000 very well-trained Freeti. As they ring these bells, you have 30 minutes to get into your home. No matter who you are. A Freeti, Devil, Planeswalker, does not matter. And if you are not inside your residence by the end of that, and you are found by an Illuminated, you are sentenced to a night in jail plus a fine of 500 gold pieces. On your second infraction, you lose a hand, and on your third infraction, you lose your head. If you are not a registered member of this city, when you are caught, you are enslaved immediately.
Not so loud. You're too loud.
Claire, why are you wearing your dice mat as a hat?
Because
I've noticed it this whole time, but
I just.
It's stylish.
Thank you. Drake would
So-
understand.
some other things.
So if you're not a part of the city and you're a
If you are not
traveler-
registered,
Oh, if you're not registered.
yeah.
So would we? I mean, we could register when we go in. What else?
If you're not registered, you just die.
If you're not registered, you might as well be dead if you get caught for anything.
Do we know what's entailing? Oh my gosh, what entails being registered?
According to Mikhail's experience, he walks through the gate and he pretty much goes through a what is it?
Is there like a physical examination?
There is a minor physical examination. Weapons and everything are allowed in the city. That's not an issue. It's merely a name, race, and a basic description of what you are and who you are, and that is immediately processed into a massive database of which they can pull information from at any time. They'll think of the name. The Illuminated have access to this database at all time. They'll think of the name. They'll get the list. They'll look at the descriptions, and if they don't find you, they take you in chains.
Gotcha. So we need to register.
As a general idea, it is far more dangerous to not.
Got it.
How did I register as a shape changer?
As a shape changer, so that is technically up to you. However, you were not caught in any infractions, so it wasn't an issue. So Mikhail could have registered however he wished. However, knowing the dangers, I feel Mikhail probably would have registered as a changeling, but with the promise of keeping one form.
Okay.
That sucks.
Well, yeah.
It sucks, but you won't die the first time you encounter an Illuminated.
Choose which form, that one form that you were staying as, and then re-register in a different form. Under a different name, with this as saying that you're changing. And then you get an infraction, you hide, you change over to what your original one was, and like, oh, you're already in our database.
I just had to get back outside the city without being caught leaving the city
Mhm.
to re-enter the city legally again.
And so you notice that.
Well, no, but
there-
you've already been registered, is what he's saying. So now
Registered,
when we go
yeah.
this time, you just register as something different because you would
Oh,
already be in
okay.
their registry.
Now,
So that way
That-
you can change between two different
so
things.
if you leave, do you unregister?
As you
How's that
are
work?
recorded leaving the city, so you are recorded entering and leaving.
So okay.
So as of right now, Mikhail Huntsworm is registered as not being in the city of Brass.
Okay.
Never mind. That
That's kind of what I was thinking.
would have been a
but
cool idea,
wasn't.
but
That is really cool. I
Okay.
just noticed this.
What were you going to say next?
In the Plume, which is the most kind place for a normal person to be in, it's actually primarily a commercial district, mostly the most welcoming city area of the city for adventurers and planeswalkers and such. And there is a tavern, the tavern of which you and your sister stayed, called Advar's Adventurous Party Place. It was a very flamboyant and not necessarily gay, but aggressively happy wizard
Aggressively
who is very, very old, like far older than you, and has lived in the elemental plane of fire for the majority of his near past, and enjoys just being the safe place for adventurers.
Long walks on the beach.
The beach of brass, yeah.
To brass.
He beats that brass.
Long walks on the
He
coals.
beats that brass hard, bro. He
on
beats
the
it
black sands.
till it blows out. You know?
Wait, okay, so where's the plume? Or where's this thing that
The
you're
plume.
talking about? Okay.
The plume is up here.
So not far from the furnace. How far would that be from the furnace, would you say?
I mean, so this is about a 12-mile by 8-mile section of the 40 by 40 plate.
Okay.
So, and it goes, this is the edge of the plate. So everything that side of the map is fields and forests, as much as you call them, while being on a plate of brass.
Yeah.
Primarily the places where people harvest the food, the small amount of food that is growable in the element.
Yes, but
fire.
what's the distance?
The distance? So, 12 by 8.
No, from the plume to the furnace. Is the
I mean, if
plume-
I'm saying it's 12 by 8, that's probably about half a mile.
Okay.
Maybe a mile, max.
That's a little bit of
I mean, do some basic math. If it's 12 by 8 and, you divide this by 8, that's neat. I'm just messing.
Miles?
Yes, 12 by 8 miles.
Okay.
See, even they were like,
Well, I was considering kilometers. I just want
I thought it was millimeters.
my bad,
I thought I'd
my
take
bad.
one step from this side of the city, and I'm already outside of it.
It's leagues.
It's leagues. Yeah.
Parsecs.
I was gonna say
form of
parsecs.
speeds.
Some other more technical things that Mikhail would know. The city is populated by approximately 4 million, about a fifth of which are slaves, and a lot of said slaves are actually unregistered. So there is a known somewhere around 800,000 registered slaves, and there are a lot more than that.
Because they're moving through the city, right?
Because they move through the city so quickly, and since it's the primary import and export of the city, a lot of people let it slide for money. The primary inhabitants of the city are obviously the Afriti, but there are also specifically the Kargans and the Azers, which are both other little fire elemental creatures. The Azers specifically known for their smithing, and Hargan specifically known for them being dipshits. They're kind of the rabble-rousers.
Oh, that's
of the
why
city.
it autocorrects to Karens.
Or Hargans, I apologize. Hargans.
Oh, Hargans.
Instead of Cargans?
Yes. So, what are some other things Mikhail, or that you would want to know that Mikhail might have knowledge of?
1 second.
So the curfew, the illuminated,
Alright, so we are going here for the soul of the devil, right?
yes.
Did I meet a devil in my last time here?
Go ahead and roll me a luck check.
Ooh.
Figure plus 2.
That's a dirty 20.
A dirty 20.
2 dirty 20s in a row. Alright.
So in Mikhail's week there, he did not meet any, because to talk to one is nearly inviting some sort of problem. However, he saw many. You saw pit fiends, other Abishai, any number of imps and chain devils. Devils are not an uncommon sight in the city of Brass, as Mikhail knows of the very lucrative trade that the devils and Afriti pass back from one another. The Afriti trade their slaves and their literally top of the multiverse smithed items to the devils in return for gold, and also sometimes troops, whether those be devilkin, demons, or any number of other creatures held under devil's control. They will provide armies at times, because the Afriti are a far more warring people than the devils, believe it or not.
Okay. So it's pretty common to see them.
Yes. And you know, there is the Embassy of the Hells, which is based on the... it's like right on the edge of the furnace. You know it's around the Gate of the Fallen, in between that and the Plaza of the Hunters. And it is set there on the street of Stela, specifically just within reach of places like the Char and the Foundry specifically, because that's the higher end Ifriti, not quite the nobles, but the higher end, and the Furnace, which is the noble type. They're also near the Arches, where, you know, the slave place is. The Plume, the Cinder Sweep, and the Char are all other places that have markets and such, so they're right there in the middle of everything they would ever need.
Okay.
Now, some of the more powerful devils do have their own estates and homesteads, but those are...
Beyond the walls of the city? Or
No. Everything's in the walls of the city.
Okay.
They would probably be more in the Foundry than anything. Some of the super high-end devils might sneak into the Furnace, but it would be a very, very difficult sell for them to get any property there.
Okay. So for the most part, we're probably going to be looking in the Foundry for our mark. More than likely.
More than likely, yes. And you know the Sultan. In fact, you know the title of the Sultan, and it's a bit of a long one. Marak al-Sadan al-Hareg ben Lazine, the Lord of Flame, the Potentate Incandescent, the Tempering and Eternal Flame of Truth, the Most Puissant of Hunters, the Marshal of the Order of the Fiery Heart, the Smoldering Dictator, and the Crimson Firebrand. Whenever the Sultan is spoken about, it is expected that you list his whole name and titles if you are speaking of him.
So you can't just say the Sultan?
You
would have to say the Sultan, Marak al-Sadan al-Harag bin Lazan, la la la.
If you did not list at least most of that, that is an infraction of the law of the City of Brass.
What is?
Not saying the guy's
Not
full
saying
name.
the guy's full name. This is the
If
guy's
you
full name
speak of him,
and title.
Just talking about it.
just talking about him, every time you mention his name, you must mention
So
some
we're
of his
only
titles.
gonna think about it.
We're gonna
Is
have
that
a
the guy we're
code.
killing?
No, that's
we're-
the Sultan.
We're gonna have a code. We're gonna have yeah.
So the
No.
Sultan is the one who provides the protection that is on the City of Brass.
He moves
So
the
the
city.
elemental plane of fire naturally is around boiling temperature. So to be outside of the city is to roast yourself unless you are immune to it. Even resistant creatures would nearly die by being off the City of Brass. Now, being on the City of Brass, you have that general protection. The Sultan has the power to just remove that protection from a single person anywhere. So you could be in the middle of a market square and someone just incinerates beside you because of the fact that the Sultan decided
People live here. That's
Yeah.
bizarre.
4 million people.
That's
live
just
here.
bizarre.
This is very reminiscent to Muslim countries a couple hundred years ago.
Yeah.
Somewhat. Yeah,
And-
except the Sultan can actually just kill you whenever.
Well,
rather than...
versus North Korea, where
Yeah.
he has to hear about it before he kills him.
Mm-hmm. And so he is rumored to have somewhere near the power of a greater deity.
Yeah, we're not touching him.
We're staying away.
And if we can, we'll refer to him in a term
Go
that
on.
What is
doesn't.
Vessers?
A Vasar. The Vasars are his underlings. I mean, they're pretty much the people that hold court for him. They're his nobles directly beneath him that he has specifically chosen to run the majority of things
Is
outside of him.
Asad one of those nobles?
No.
Good.
He is not a Vasar.
Okay.
He is a member... He is a noble.
Yeah.
Awkwardly enough, not living in the place that the other nobles do, in the furnace.
He lives in
He
the
lives in the
foundry.
foundry.
Oh, wait.
Hasserine Estates is in the foundry, and that is where he has his primary residence. Now, he spends a lot of time in the furnace. He spends a lot of time out and about at meetings and such. He is one of 5 of the Ring of Smoldering Chains.
Okay.
So, yeah. outside of that, Sultan, very, very powerful, very, very terrifying person you do not want to mess with. Go ahead and roll me, let's say, another luck check. There's one more thing that I think Mikhail might know about. We'll see. 15. Mikhail has heard rumors. There is the Illuminated, which are the General City Guard, but there is also the Watchfire Legions, which are another large group of Afriti that are actually in numbers nearly as large as the Illuminated, but they are the Gestapo. They are the ones constantly roaming around, whether it be as civilians, pretending to be Illuminated. They are the ones just out and about, searching for things. There is a lot of possibility for upward momentum when it comes to nobility, and they will kill each other, and it is very common for Afriti nobles to kill each other and to take their place. And the Watchfire Legion is how the Sultan makes sure neither he nor his vassals or his favored nobles get that treatment. And even no matter how high a noble they would be, if they are found scheming or plotting against those higher than them, the Sultan incinerates them.
Can they scheme against those lower than them?
Oh, yeah, he doesn't care if they're scheming around their level. But if they're trying to take out someone higher that he specifically appointed, he's not about it.
Did he appoint the guy that we're gonna go kill?
Well, he does not appoint devils.
Okay, yeah. Okay, how exactly do we get the soul of a devil? Do we have to kill them?
So
Is that it?
you
or-
have to eliminate the devil.
Okay.
And as his soul, so how a devil dies, air quotes, is wherever they are, they just poof, and in that short amount of time after their death, before their poof, you can use a spell called Soul Cage, which you
Which I
were
have.
given the jar to do so.
Yeah.
And so that is how you will obtain the soul of the devil. Because the devil's soul goes back to the 9 hells and spends a lot of time, and he regrows a new body, and then he's back. That is how devils regenerate. They don't die unless they are specifically...
So the Sultan
Force out.
doesn't like devils, or just does is kind
No,
of...
the devils.
No, the
work
devils
within-
and the Afriti have a very, very lucrative trade together.
Yes.
Oh.
They trade slaves and souls.
Oh, okay.
What is going on?
What the fuck, my guy? Is that Nicolas Cage?
Why did Nicolas Cage appear on Greg Smith?
I'm sorry.
It's fucking Nicolas Cage!
So he's using an AI-generated art bot to create his character in Logan's campaign.
Well, because Nibs won't know any of this and won't care. So I'm trying not to metagame. So I'm more...
Post that to the Discord.
So he's making Nick Cage come out of a robot.
It's like the robot, and then Nick Cage's face is like cut off
I'm
right
sorry.
here, just peeking up the top
That's so
of the robot.
uncomfortable.
Oh, it's worse than that.
Kind of like a Humpty Dumpty Eggman.
Yeah, it's a autonomous Humpty Dumpty Nicolas Cage.
I will throw... Give me...
Got it.
Okay, so
Anyways.
we only have so much time.
Sorry.
So I don't think I have much more to say, but the Watchfire Legion's Gestapo.
Okay. I just fucking can't.
I'm gonna scroll up away from that. I'm
Oh my gosh.
okay. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
You almost matched
What's
your
up?
shirt, my dude.
Who's that guild that's protecting us again?
You are matching your shirt.
The
That's
Kravis
exactly what's
Guild
happening.
are not necessarily protecting you,
We're safe in the Cross Guild?
but you're safe in buildings that are linked with the Kravis Guild, which
Okay.
you remember
Yeah.
as their symbol.
Yeah.
I made that shit up on the fly, and so I have to kind of do it again because I
It's
don't
like
have
some
it
sort of
You want me to read it back to you?
skull looking.
Yeah, do you have it noted down?
Yes, I do.
Hey, that's pretty pog.
It is purple paint.
Yeah, purple.
Purple painted face with a pair of tusks and X's for eyes.
There we go. Anyways,
I want to say there were axes in there, but I don't have that part noted.
The axes is for the huntsman.
Okay.
anyways, so I go over to the wherever the Kravis Guild place is in this town.
Roll me an investigation.
I mean, I figure it's kind of like Don Turum, where they kind of just have a building where you can accept.
Well, remember,
work.
this is a developing city.
Yeah, I know,
not-
but the Kravis Guild would be here.
Are you sure about that?
I don't know.
Exactly. That's why you're rolling for it.
12.
A 12. So you go around the more developed section of the city, the entertainment slash. This is where we have things that are considered fundamental for the city. We built these before we brought the slaves in because this is necessary.
Yeah.
A lot of food, your general stock shops, your taverns, and you do not find a
Oh my
building
God.
specifically.
Oh wow, you're right. Oh, that's awful.
Why did you send that to the show?
Because
All
that
4 images are.
that's because
That one is Nicolas Cage to a T.
I'm sorry, I lost my ever loving mind when that popped up. I'm sorry.
That's amazing.
Anyways,
How tall
There
is
is
he?
not a Kravis Guild building in Karth at this moment.
is there
However-
is there like a
Do more.
a
They're getting better.
work finder? What are those buildings called?
You got it.
Like, it's just a guild. I mean, it's just like
A guild hall,
a
something
guild
of the
hall
sort.
or, like somewhere
There
there's
are general places
work post.
where there's a work post of sorts. However, there aren't many adventurers coming through the city.
I know, but like what I'm specifically looking for is I'm looking for a work poster. Anything that I could do within the day, whether it's like, oh, craft me this, or like I need healing, or like
I need healing.
or it's like a fetch quest across town, or it's I need. You to
I
go,
understand what you're
I
going
need you
for.
to go arrest somebody or something like that, but like
It's really not that funny.
quick cash. I'm looking for quick cash jobs that I
You're
can do
looking
over the
for
next
quick
2
cash.
days.
Okay, so primarily, they're the guild hall for that sort of stuff, which is kind of just like a city central
Yeah, city
area.
center.
It is near a familiar place, which is the Whale's Call. You
that
also
the place?
noticed as you are passing by the Whale's Call that while it meant nothing to you before, seeing it reminds you there is the symbol of the Kravis Guild underneath one of the windows on a plank outside of the tavern.
Oh yeah.
Nice. It's good to know that the place where you get the brownies. Is that where you get the brownies?
Okay,
Yeah.
so if that's there, then we can stay there then for a while.
You
at
could
least.
you could probably stay there. However, in terms of finding jobs, Warden could probably. I'm not going to go into detail.
Yeah. It's
There's
just
no
like,
real need to. Warden could probably spend the majority of the next 2 days and make. Do you have fabricate
yes.
or creation or create either of those? I don't know if you get create. I know wizards do. I thought fortune clerics did. I know you get fabricate.
Oh yeah, manage spells. I get fabricate, yes, and then I also have
Creation is always
hold
prepared.
on. Oh, I do have creation.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Uh,
with
Yeah, fabricate, creation, and then I also have all the other special traits of building things. Anyways.
okay, so with the pair of those, you only get 1 5th level spell, correct, Daily?
Yes. But I can also once a day use my feature.
Yeah, I know.
Actually, twice a day. Channel.
Your channel
divinity.
divinities, yes. So as a whole, I'll say over the next 2 days, you specifically work with a couple smiths and artificers around the area that are looking to just turn their
Boys.
clumps of metal that they've got into armor and such, and they're like, okay, you know how to smith, okay, and you just cast create, or you cast create one day and then fabricate the next, or something along those lines, and you just create multiple sets of plate armor, and multiple sets of great swords and these other things. And then you help them forge to sharpen and better these things so that they can enchant them properly. I'll say you make $1,000 over the 2 days. With your capability to just create a large chunk of metal and then fabricate it into plate, because plate is not cheap. Plate runs upwards of 500 gold depending on where you're buying it from. So in terms of conscripting it being made, you'll make $1,000 over the 2 days.
Even north of that, upwards of $1,000 or even $2,000 in some places.
Dependent upon how fancy you're getting it, and is it used? You know, is it made specifically for you, or is it just you fit? There are lots that go into a plate armor.
And in between shifts, I am with my polar arms as they are slowly becoming more and more independent.
Yeah, go ahead and roll me a luck check. See how we're developing there.
Yeah, I'm running combat. I'm just combat training, like how you would swing a sword in the air. That is an 18 plus 3.
So with a 21, you're making pretty strong progress. It's not just a thing that's going to change over the day.
No,
but
I think you and I said it was going to take like 3 to 4 days, or was it?
It was more like a week plus.
Oh yeah. I really can't remember. I can't remember.
Yeah, it'll take time, but you probably knocked a day off of your training with that.
Nice.
So that's what he's doing. Nari, I'm gonna say the majority of your first day is recollecting and writing the book to Allura.
And I'm also gonna write in there everything I can remember in the notebook that he and I have too.
Okay.
Partially just so I have it down on a notebook that is mine, and also so I can share the information with others.
Drake, what are you doing over this pair of days?
This hour and a half that we spent, I've come up with a tiny list. Okay. All his side quests. Okay, so he's gonna go, he's gonna be like a doctor, see who needs like cure wounds, restoration, or maybe like someone died. Anytime he can take advantage of that, to get money for that. Another thing, if people need fire, oh, he's got it.
Bro, he's got it.
Plant growth, it says that I can like enrich soil, like for an entire year if I like.
Yeah, I know.
For like 3 hours.
Yep, I know plant growth well.
He's gonna cast that whenever someone uses it. So he's gonna also build stuff, because this is a developing city, so like he's gonna develop houses and building them with people.
Okay, what you will make the most money off of is plant growth. By far and away. Because developing fertile fields that are fertile but not really, or not fertile or not really capable of growing right now, or things that are fertile but, planted.
Yes.
If you just chain smoke plant growth over this next few days, you will make a lot of money.
Okay, as soon as he figures out that is what he would make the most money doing, assume that he figured that out pretty quickly. He's gonna do that.
I would say he maybe does a couple cures and a couple this and a couple that, but then quickly discovers, oh my gosh, people will pay incredible amounts of money for this.
Yes. How many times can I cast that?
I am pulling up your character sheet right now. As a 3rd level spell, I think you'll get 3 or 4 castings where you're at.
Dang.
So, well, actually, more like 5 or 6. So 3. Holy crap! So you can. Let's check this plant growth. So, if you don't sleep the first night, you will get pretty much 5 castings worth, because it'll take you 40 hours to do that out of the 48 you have, and the rest of that will be spent in preparation of this. But for every casting of it, you can get 500 gold.
Yeah, he's not gonna sleep. Just I'll do this thing.
So Drake and Warden are pretty much non-existent members of this party for the next day and a half. Nari,
Sweet.
I'm gonna say you guys set up in the Whale's Call and kind of purchase rooms and such. If someone wants to remove like a platinum or 10 gold,
Nibs is good.
that'll pay for the majority of the rooms and food and such.
And
Nibs
brownies?
No, Nibs is only doing the platinum.
Brownies, if I remember correctly, were 4 gold apiece.
I will see if I can go all the way back up there. If I have
Yeah,
it.
that was literally second session, and we're like 23 now.
I just added 2,500 gold.
Yep.
Is that acceptable?
Yes, that is acceptable.
Damn.
Man, I only made 1,000.
That's
Reek.
because
I bought them from Reek.
you bought them from Reek.
Reek.
Do you remember how much for?
Can I say 1,000? And I also was able to replenish some steel, iron, such. Like
Sure.
scrap.
Sure. We'll say you got most of the scrap from those that you helped.
Sweet.
No.
No. So we're gonna say 4 gold apiece.
Okay.
Because I remember they were fairly expensive.
Especially
Yes.
brownies.
How many are you wanting to buy?
I think we should sneak them into the devil and get him to eat the high brownies.
I am going to get 3 plates. So 12? Is that right? Because they come in packs of 4?
Yeah, they come in packs of 4.
So I'll do 3 plates. So 60 gold.
Yes.
Okay.
Right. Are you gonna load or not?
Okay, get rid of that. Now I gotta go buy my special brownies and add 12.
I am frustrated with my computer right now. It's not doing what I want it to. R.I.P. homie. Rip in person, my homie. I know that I wrote down a whole bunch of stuff that I had planned. Now I cannot find it. So, that sucks. Either way. So, Mikhail's buying some brownies from Reek.
I'd probably be working with her on the whole like remembering shit as well for
Okay.
a large part of it, because I don't imagine that took like 5 minutes. It probably took
Hours on hours.
hours.
Yeah. That'll take the majority of the first day. Now you'll have the evening. But Nibs.
Okay.
Ingredients, 'cause
So,
I do not have a lot of
Nibs
time
was
to
going
go
to inquire on a
searching
couple
for
different
that,
issues.
because we just keep teleporting. And they're
A
working in
freed
the
slave can buy
Well,
slaves,
besides Larry.
correct?
With
But I mean,
permission and a slip from your
these
master.
kinds of ingredients.
A freed slave.
A free. Oh, I apologize. I misheard you. I heard you say Ifrit, and I'm like,
No.
so a freed slave can buy slaves. Is that your question?
Yes.
If they have proper documentation, yes. Like you do have to have documentation to purchase a slave. You have documentation to purchase a house. The only thing you don't have to have documentation for is like renting a room and buying food and such and general essentials. If it's something like even a weapon, in most regards, you have to have documentation for. You guys already had that documentation set in for yourselves. And you already have weapons, so no one's gonna be like, yeah, no, you can't buy weapons. But if you were a random kid from the streets, you couldn't walk into a magic shop and buy a weapon.
So this is Great Britain gun laws.
This is Great Britain gun laws. This is everything is held down lock and key if it is a non-essential item.
Interesting. So yeah, that gets very interesting.
If you have the right amount of money,
person.
It is not necessarily difficult to acquire said documentation.
Is that something that the folks at the bar could help me find someone to get that? Like, if I have the money?
Sure. So you're gonna go up and ask them about this.
Yes.
What is your exact phrasing of the question?
They don't have collars, correct?
They do not.
Basically, he's blue now. Looks, I don't know if it makes a difference, but he's not wearing a collar. And he's basically gonna go up and say, hey, I remember y'all saying that if we needed anything, if the price was right, you guys could take care of it for us, right?
So I'll say you probably end up speaking to the Dragonborn, who's the cook, who is named Jack. He runs the back. In some ways, yes, but not necessarily everything. What exactly would you be looking for, my small dragonkin friend?
Well, to be truthful, and then he just kind of trails off for a second as he realizes what he called him. He goes, well, our paperwork's a bit out of date now. He says, we came over on a work pass, basically. Had to pay off a debt from our buyers to pay for our time off. We're now completed the debt. And he goes, no collars left. He goes, but I'm running into problems everywhere I go. It's like I can't start a business, I can't buy a house, I can't buy slaves, I can't do anything without proper documentation now. He goes, I didn't realize it would be this way when we made the contract to come over. And I mean, yeah, we came over, but now we're pretty much in the same boat as a slave. We don't have a master to feed us. We have to come up with our own cash and do our own odd jobs. He goes, so who do I need to get with to get paperwork? And goes, and then I'm going to slide a platinum on the cross to him and go, and frankly, someone where it won't take us a year or two to get the right paperwork.
It is dependent, as he kind of reaches out. As he's holding the platinum, he's looking at it. It is dependent upon where you go for such information. I may have a contact or two, and he flips the platinum back to you. And says, we are no friends to the Gwendalian Empire. However, we like to help each other. This is a place for kinds like us and your friends and any other here. And he points around to the room, which is just a cacophony of different races and creatures, many with weapons, some literally like pouring stuff in, random stuff, casting spells into like a jug. Just obviously a chaotic adventuring group. For those uncollared, it is arguably even more dangerous than those who are here. While the common folk are obviously more at risk of immediate death, they are not here trying to explore. We are.
Aye.
We are those adventuring into the new world and discovering old relics of the past.
As he says that, I'm going to reach into my sleeve. I'm going to pull out the laser pistol without the charge on it. And I'm going to say, talking of old relics, and I'm going to hand it over. So let's take a gander of this thing. It says found it in the fade.
He kind of pulls it over, looks at it.
There he goes. Runs off of these. I'm going to hold up one little battery, guys. One of the charges. Packs more wallop than a large crossbow. Say it's about the same as a lightning bolt or a ball of lightning, but I can fire it from this without being a caster.
The past holds incredible secrets and weapons that are far more advanced than we have now.
Aye.
At this point, he kind of looks over to some of the other taller folks, the other strongbacks, who are the servers and waiters and such of this place. We ourselves have taken a trip to the fold in the past. We lost one there. So you going in, and I've noticed your entire previous group, in fact, including one, an extra came back. It is rare.
Aye. We did step in it for sure. We got darn lucky or darn cursed, depending on your outlook. It's like he sighs himself for a second. He goes, "That's neither here nor there, though. My condolences to you. In fact, he goes, what was his name? I'll drink." And I'm gonna. How many people in the? Just
15 to 20.
it's like. I'm gonna bang the bar real quick, loud, and go, "Excuse me." He goes,
Like 4 people are
Yeah,
still talking
yeah,
in
he's
the
like,
corner, but
"I'm buying a round in honor of a fallen man in the fold." He says, "One good shot of whiskey for everyone in here." What's it cost?
that'll cost you probably 2 platinum,
I'm gonna.
we'll say.
I'll slap that down on the bar. And,
Okay.
and he goes, "What was his name?"
Gary.
So it's like, "Let him up, boy." Yeah, I was sure.
Gary.
Gary.
Bro,
Indiana,
his name
it's
is
a
Jack.
Jack.
Like,
At least it's not Indiana.
these are a whole bunch of like barbarians
Yeah.
and people of the such. They got 1-syllable
Yeah.
names.
So, he'll do a toast for everyone in there. He's like, says, "To Gary." He goes,
To Gary.
he's, "Maybe he be an hour in the hills before the devil knows he's there." And
And Jack's just sitting there laughing as you do this.
I'll just do a salute. You know, it's just an honor to him.
Mhm.
It's like find a little goodwill, and
Afterwards,
I don't know if it'll probably do Jack,
Yeah. Let's. I'm gonna go ahead.
but
Okay. After a short period of time, he kind of continues his conversation with you. If you are looking to purchase permits or a possible another identification, there are people that you could do it from. However, the contact I have at least is in Winter, which is not but a stone's throw away, but still nearly a day's travel. A little over, in fact. There is a drow there that apparently has links to Bavarian and some criminal organizations there that is very, very good at moving material and creating new identities for people. This drow is in a little dive bar in a specific section of the city, in the Eagle's Crow. There is a small dive bar called the Fox's Nest.
Eagle's Crow.
And the Eagle's Crow is the section of the city in the Fox's Nest, which is the tavern itself, the dive bar.
Okay.
Upon which entering, you will find him. He is the tender there, the bartender. Generally at night is a little bit better since he is a drow. However, he would likely within a day or two be able to procure you it's behind the table that I moved it as to
Keep cords.
keep
safe.
cords safe and the trash safe from your child.
I can turn this back on now.
As a general rule of thumb, it will cost you. However, after getting that documentation and such for purchasing slaves or households is not difficult to come across. I know you had some questions about the Carlos the last time you came through, and we gave you what information that we knew at the time. It's not like we have much more now. However, if you were interested in purchasing an estate with the capability to process slaves, or even an encampment developing a new area, you could perchance, depending on how much money and which officials you come across, possibly purchase a control device for one of them. For your group of slaves, that is.
there anything that I need to talk to the tender about when someone goes see him, so they know that you sent us and we're on the level?
Just say that the Strongbacks sent you. We have a bit of a name for ourselves. While we don't have pull as that of any nobles, we have won a tournament once or twice that's well known in Dwinder.
He's gonna kind of grin and go, yeah. The blood of the dragons runs strong with the Strongbacks.
Yes, the Scorching Pits are quite a fun event if you were to ever participate. In fact, they're not but a couple months away.
And he's gonna kind of smile and nod and goes, oh, it's good to keep in mind. He goes,
Might have to compete with us, though.
with or against?
Well, against.
He's gonna kind
I
of
will
smile.
denote, your scales have changed since last I saw you. Not a common occurrence for dragonfolk.
Not at all. But enlightenment is... Sometimes you work your whole life, years and years, trying to figure out who you really are. And then other times it just comes in like a bolt of lightning, you know, just like that, and then you know. And with that knowledge comes some very interesting side effects. He goes, and he just kind of smiles and goes, we'll see where these changes take me.
Enlightenment or a change of perspective?
I'd say enlightenment. I haven't had time to contemplate that, to find out if it changes things more than my own appearance. Again, his accent, as it's been brought forth that he is someone maybe else now, or different, his accent is changing as this conversation has continued.
Just be careful your ambitions do not become a haunting for you. It is not an uncommon occurrence with us, dragonkind. We can be quite provocative, and the greed that can incite outside.
Talent!
That's a strong sucker right there.
Oh yeah. Hey, shut up!
There's a reason.
I love how you and me made eye contact. That was
And
the
then-
best.
and
Yeah, because I knew you were gonna
At
be
the
doing.
exact same time, I went.
Bombastic side eye.
Bombastic criminal offense. Side eye.
He's gonna kind of nod to himself and go, that I know well. That I know well.
Just be careful.
What?
More power does not always mean
No,
more
it fell on
for
the side.
oneself.
I'm good.
It is not everything in the world. Knowledge, experience, the story of life. I may not be as long-lived as some others, but I have many stories to tell, whether that be from those adventurers coming in and the experiences they have shared with me. And that is more valuable than any amount of gold or power will ever tell.
Knowledge is its own worthy hoard.
Indeed.
Hearing that makes Warden.
You hear a robotic.
No, not the
Why does it
turtle.
sound like
Not the turtle.
Why does it sound like a Minecraft villager?
Unfortunately, you're building. You're not in this room.
Yeah,
You're working someplace.
I am working with dwarves.
Yeah, and
Yep.
so he's gonna nod and go. Well, I do believe he goes. It might be a little bit before we can get over there and see him. We've got business to take care of. He goes, but thank you, sir.
If that is the case, I can send him a note to possibly prepare some things for you. If you were to leave somewhere around 500 platinum, I could give him your descriptions. He would be making your names and stories to go behind you. But you, with your new scales, your bird Kenku friend, Fire Genasi, large robotic creature, and what is the new one? I only saw but a glimpse of him walk in with
It's a gnome.
a gnome.
Yeah, wasn't not a slave. I'm not sure how he got over here, but he might actually have proper paperwork. But who knows? It could be interesting.
It
What-
would not be the worst plan to
No.
prepare something for him anyway.
And might have a few other friends come in too. So, get back with you in a day or so. We're actually here to meet some folks that are coming in. I need to see what kind of paperwork they need.
Alright, just bring it by. I will see you in the evening, I assume, if you plan on sleeping.
We'll be in. Thank you. And if not, I'll be in tomorrow.
Alright.
Wait,
Sounds
so
good.
if this bar is Kravis Guild
Associated.
associated, that means that the dude that he was talking with is Kravis Guild associated.
Yes.
At least at one point or another, yes. Whether that's closely associated, you do not know.
Okay.
But
there are Kravis Guild people in this.
Okay, so y'all are pretty much spending
yeah,
this time.
I'm playing music through there.
So you guys are doing the map stuff. You're
We're
working.
spending
You're
the first
working.
day.
So
Yeah.
Nibs is just kind of, I guess Nibs is gonna bum around until you guys are free. And Trek,
Maybe,
you are not. You're not sleeping. You're just working, right?
Not that first night, no.
Okay. So first night, Warden, you're not
A
sleeping. You're
single
with the dwarf.
mom who works too hard.
So
Yeah,
Well,
so
I
technically
don't
you
sleep.
could go for 2 full days. However, you would suffer such an exhaustion.
he'd have to pass out afterwards.
You would have to pass out afterwards, and that would be the day that the meeting is happening with the consortio.
Yes.
Does he need to be there though? Technically, he's not part of the consortio.
He's not part of the consortio, but he is part of your future plans.
Yeah. But do we
I mean-
really have to bring the gnome? I mean, we could just let the gnome sleep.
I mean, what the gnome doesn't know won't kill us.
that's where.
Would the gnome
That's
be allowed in the
definitely
meeting?
how Nari feels about
He
this
actually very
situation.
much could. He
No.
actually very much
Hold on.
could.
Would the gnome be allowed in the meeting?
No.
I mean, that's
We could
up
say
to those.
no.
That is up to the people
I think
who
we
are
should just
coming.
let him sleep.
We will let. So,
That'll be actually a decision between you three, because he's gone, and so is he.
On the second day,
Okay.
I want to slip out to the market and see if I can get some fresh herbs.
Some fresh herbs.
Because we've
Yeah.
been teleporting and in the fold, and I have not been able to collect anything in a fat minute.
No, you have not.
So,
You can collect pretty much anything you want.
okay.
How much
I have-
gold do you have to spend?
50 gold.
50 gold. You could dump all of that and pretty much get any quantity or herb that you wish.
Okay.
I'm not going to go too in depth for it because I do not know the charts as well as you do.
Basically, it's like calling through very rare.
Yeah, I understand that idea of it.
but
you
you know
could
the
you could get a
values.
couple very rare items,
Okay.
and then pretty much anything rare or underneath you could probably get some of for 50 or so gold.
Okay. I'll just remove 50 and put a handful in.
Yes, Warden.
You said I was also helping artificers. Would that be with their R&D and shit?
Mostly just developing shit that they know will sell.
Okay.
Maybe
But
one or
it's
two
kinda
R&Ds.
just- Yeah, a little bit of R&D. Okay.
Very little
Because
bit, but yeah.
obviously Warden would take that time to gain insights and tinker with his own shit too. So
Yeah.
Anyways, that's all. I was
Day
just
2.
wanting to
Nari.
canonize that.
Day 2.
That
And we're supposed to meet them tomorrow. Or tonight.
tomorrow morning.
Morning.
They arrive tomorrow morning.
And then after that, we head to the city of Brass, essentially.
Basically. Where are we storing this book? I'm assuming in one of the bags on.
Okay, can I roll to see if Nibs can find a tattoo artist who can do magic?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead and roll
That day.
an investigation and luck.
Nari is
That is 18, and that is plus 1, whatever that is.
That is another 18.
Okay.
So you got an 18 and a 19. So you spend some time searching, and you have knowledge of one in Dwinder after the day. However, card very, very small.
Okay.
Does not have that kind of culture yet.
Okay.
But in Dwinder, you hear of actually a couple that you could go and visit. You peg that it's going to cost you probably somewhere around 2,500 gold.
Okay.
To gain a permanent non-attuned resistance to fire.
Okay. All right. So there's 2 Dwinder.
2 places in Dwinder that you're probably going to want to visit. It's almost like it's the capital of the New World. So
Okay. So Nibs is going to just pretty much do monk shit the rest of the time. Walk around, hang out on roofs, watch slaves, workers, people, evaluate. This is while they're all busy. He's gonna look for someone who has slaves, but kind of like, I guess, hillbilly before the Civil War. You know,
Okay.
has a few slaves, has a shitty little shack. Someone who owns some property. I can say that I'm related to him. It's in. Okay, sorry. Yeah, I actually, in our family history, it says so and so killed this day, killed by them damn Yankees. It's in the court documents.
that's hilarious.
Yeah, Arkansas. Anyway, and then he bequeathed a bunch of stuff to his
Bequeathed.
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 He gave
No, bequeathed.
he gave shit to his love childs from his slaves.
He bequeathed his slaves.
I'm slightly taken aback.
Anyway, so anyway, I'm gonna look for someone who would make it.
the same thing.
Okay, go ahead, Logan.
Okay, so
Am I
do you know in
with
general someone who has some paperwork,
Yeah.
someone who has some slaves, someone who would have a control collar, but really wouldn't be that missed. Some low-level shit.
Okay. And Mikhail, would you be joining him for this?
This is the day while they're working. This is me by
This is
myself.
you day one.
This is me doing a primary, doing a search, and
Is this
then
the second day?
and then the
He's
second.
on day one.
Okay, yeah, everyone else.
Because if you're saying while they're doing all their
Yeah.
stuff, that would have been day one.
And I roll like shit. That's a freaking 3 on investigation.
You find
investigate
compounds. You don't find like little hillbilly shack with a farm.
That might be
outside
in the
of city.
capital.
That would definitely be more closer to Dwinder. In fact, Donturum might have had some stuff like that.
Yeah,
But
no docks
the
workers.
closest thing to like farmhouse hillbilly just outside of the city is stuff that Drake is casting plant growth on to make
Yeah.
fertile land.
Yeah, he's doing that stuff. So okay, that's fine. Day 2.
Nori is getting very nervous, and like old shit is like coming up, and she's going to get drunk
Nice.
I would like
and play bar
Nori
games.
to roll me a sanity.
So this is while we're out looking again.
This is
on
so.
day
This
two,
is
this
this
is-
is. I would say Nari didn't sleep much the night before either. After she went over all this stuff with Mikhail and everything's like becoming more and more fresh, and she's
Go ahead and give your character a point of exhaustion. Okay. So up in the top right, conditions.
yeah.
At a point of exhaustion, Drake will have one as well as of right now, due to staying up the whole evening.
With Nibs' investigation, he's not going to waste a day looking around this
Okay.
day.
He'll-
So,
Yeah, yesterday he wasted a lot of time. But
so you're gonna go shopping and you're doing.
Hey,
He's still
since
working
it's been
mostly.
since it's been a day or so, well, I bought that staff of defense,
Oh, that's right.
and there's only one member in this party that does not wear armor, or does not don armor. So I'm going to make it a habit every morning to cast mage armor on him. which gives you a base AC of 13.
13 plus your dex. Well, that would actually won't improve his AC.
Yeah, well, his base AC is 10.
Well, his base AC is 10, but he's a monk, so he has an armored defense. So he has a 17 baseline.
And Bracer's defense. So
But that's dependent on whether you decide to
So-
attune to those.
Wait, hold on. So, but he has the unarmored bonus.
which is a +5.
Mage armor is.
So mage armor is 13 plus your dexterity.
Which is a +2.
It removes any other effects
It
and makes
does?
it a 13 plus
Oh, what
dex.
the fuck?
It overrides other effects.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, bullshit. Never mind.
Sorry. Thank you though.
Yeah.
Oh, I tried.
So
Why would it?
I don't
It
know.
doesn't say that.
It is what it is.
It is what it is.
All right. So
I just
what
wanted
did
to
you
give
get on
him
your
3 more
sanity
AC.
check?
13.
13. So you do not lose a point of sanity. However, during intense moments, whether it be in the elemental plane of fire or times that will incite memories that are harsh, possibly ones that Nari tried to forget, I will have you roll another sanity check, specifically on whether Nari will be having a panic attack or not.
So how long?
Yeah.
Okay. What do I need to roll to find out if Nibs? I guess insight to see how.
Yeah. I'd say probably in the morning she's not out drinking super early. She's trying to sleep. However, when she comes out, she is drunk nearly the moment she steps out.
So
I
that's a
get there pretty
19. So for a while, Nibs is gonna let her drink.
Yeah, probably around noon is when you really hone
Yeah.
in on what's going on.
I'm gonna let her drink. You're gonna go shopping. You guys are still working, so I'm gonna keep watching you. You're gonna kind of start being goofy, I'm guessing, wanting to play games, throw
Yes.
things, do stuff.
I'm gonna want to try and win some money from some of the other people hanging out in the bar.
And Nibs is just gonna watch, just kind of sit back and watch and let you do your thing for a while.
I have a question. Can
Yeah.
something remain attuned to you if you put it in the bag of holding?
Depends.
I'm just wondering.
Depends on the situation. If you're like taking your armor off and throwing it in there, no, you will not remain attuned to it.
But like, what about like a weapon or
A weapon,
my
you would
staff?
remain attuned to it, but you wouldn't just be able to, suck it out of the bag of holding. You still have to open it
So how shitfaced
Oh, yeah.
is she?
up. On a scale of 1 to 10,
Yeah, like at what point?
probably about an 8. She wants to maintain enough of herself so that she can still read the cards to know whether she's gambling right.
And I'm not trying to spill like information about what we're gonna
Right.
be doing over the next couple
But
days.
yeah, but when you cross over, let me know because Nibs will do something when
So-
she starts to get to that. I want to fight. I want to cry. When she starts crossing over.
Okay.
But
Go ahead and
until
roll me a
then,
D20.
I'm trying to think of
Go ahead and roll me a luck.
who's the luck. 17.
17. Okay. You start pretty hot. You get in a bit of a game with a small group of people. A couple halflings. There's a dwarf. There's a tabaxi there. More colorful characters as well. And you win the first pot. The first big pot, that is. You go 50 gold up. Would Nari keep playing?
I think yes.
Yes.
If
Okay,
she's
go
at
ahead.
an 8,
Go ahead
yeah.
and roll me another luck.
11.
11. You bet that 50 gold back in and you lose all of it. You go back to flat. And I'll say, at this point, it is a little past 1.
Okay.
Nari has not had much to eat and she's been drinking all day.
Okay.
Rip.
She's starting to get sloshed. And
I would say that Nari's probably a munchy drunk.
munchy
A
drunk.
munchy drunk.
Okay.
When she starts feeling like really, really drunk, she'll order some stuff. But she's not gonna.
brownies.
Do you eat a...
I
Mikael
don't think
offer
I
a-
had one of the brownies last time either. could see Nari going for some sweet shit.
Yeah, they're very sweet.
Yeah, I'd say Nari probably.
Okay, so go ahead
Nice
and
brownie.
remove.
Buys a brownie and then maybe some like wings.
Go ahead and remove like 10 gold.
I mean, like legs, whatever.
Go ahead and just remove 10
10
gold
gold.
for food and drinks.
Okay.
And brownies.
And brownies in this case. Nari is not belligerent, but the temperature around her is noticeably hotter than it was in the morning.
Like she feels hot. Like
No, like she
Or, like, other
feels
people feel
normal.
hot around
Other
me.
people, the temperature is an extra 5 degrees higher around you.
also, can you remind me what the effects of this brownie was?
It's got everything in it.
Okay, but what does it do?
It's a
bucks you up.
psychedelic.
Okay, it's a psychedelic.
It is a high, it is a low, it's a psychedelic. It has everything in it. So it will do everything to you.
Okay,
This is
am
the
I seeing shit? Are colors
Yes.
sounds?
Yes.
Like that's
Yes.
what I want to know.
yes.
Okay.
If
all
it
of
is
the-
if it is a
shit.
question on
so
what it does
as-
to you, it is a yes.
When this starts to happen, are you still at the card table?
No. I'd say after I lost my pot, I probably went to sit near
Okay.
the like at the bar.
I'm going to be sitting in one of the corners or something, just making potions whenever I get back from doing shopping.
Okay. So you're making potions, and Nibs has kind of just been
I've been just watching.
spectating, eating, drinking.
Mostly just he's been back in a corner with a little bit of with a drink, probably sitting there feeding dog, and then has a kind of a journal that he's been writing in and cross-referencing some materials and stuff. Just doing some different research and things, and keeps watching her and gets up, shuts the book, and looks over after he comes in and goes, go hang out with the bird.
Dog, at this point, a couple days later, is getting closer to the size of like a super small pony.
Yeah.
So
like a Great
he's-
Dane, essentially.
Well, he was the size of a Great Dane. He's bigger now.
Oh, okay.
He's
so
bred down quarter horse.
He's about 250 in weight, and he's actually fairly frail for his size. He's still filling out. He's still got months before he's like, I would say a young wyvern, but at this point he would be considered a wormling. And I will make up a sheet for him at some point because he is closing in on combat ready. However, he is not resistant to fire. So bringing him to the elemental plane of fire may not be the best idea
Yeah.
for a young wormling wyvern.
Yeah. So I've been working with him, doing different stuff, and hanging with him. But I'm like, go hang out with It's like your bird needs you.
Yeah. And during the last evening before you guys went to bed, did you discuss with them identity stuff?
They're gone, so I would have mentioned it to the three of us know about that.
About
Possible the lead on the paperwork to get identities
okay.
and paperwork and stuff like that, and that we
we can own things.
so we can own things and possibly buy slaves and get a control rod,
Yeah.
and then or set up an identity for ourselves or someone else. So I'm gonna get up shortly after. I've messed with the brownies before, and I've watched what has happened. I've given them to other people. I've done different things, so I know when you hit. And you go high, and then right before she's about to crash, so Nibs is gonna come over to her and say, "Gnarly, come on, let's go." I gotta reach up, and kind of take your hand, and it's like, "Come on, follow me." And I'm gonna take you upstairs to your room.
As you are passing by, you notice the Minotaur, who I believe his name is Tark. Yeah, Tark, the massive Minotaur with like a huge snake anaconda just wrapped around him, has a tray with a small potion on it that he's holding out to you as you're leading her towards the stairs.
Okay.
Hang on, Nari
I'll-
never said she was going to the stairs.
Well, not yeah. I'm gonna take it. I'll just nod to him and take it and say, "Come on." And
I think Nari is starting to see stuff, and especially
ahead and roll me a
mixed
d20.
with her drunkenness. I
2. So Nari, as she is starting to crash, at first she was seeing shapes, colors, fun things in the sky. Until at one point, when a small, like, belch is made from, like, this circle of dragonborn over in the corner. But there's just a little bit of flame. And she immediately goes back into her chair, eyes wide.
I would draw my dagger.
Seeing,
I would
just drawing your dagger towards it. And it's not necessarily uncommon for someone to draw their dagger, so you don't necessarily draw attention by it.
But that's when Nibs comes up.
And that's when Nibs come over. And as he does, you look over and you see the face of Kethrak. As
Oh,
he
shit.
now has blue tinted scales, which reminds you of this devil that terrified you as a child. And so this small itty bitty version of Kethrak is standing beside you. And you freak out.
Yeah, both daggers drawn now. Backing away violently. I would Nari's starting to like shout and
As
yeah.
Nibs is moving towards you, trying to calm you down, you see the arms up here like this. But what you see is wings unfurled, and you see, "Hi there, dear. Wanna come back? Wanna come home? It's been so long." And as that is being said,
Nari's like really freaking. Nari's gonna
you are grabbed from behind physically, as people are used to people tripping balls in here. And the Minotaur at this point has grabbed you from behind and is holding your mouth open to be fed a potion to purify you.
I'm going
Nari
to use
is
command on
fighting
her
for
and say
her
sleep.
fucking life.
Go ahead and roll an athletics.
No, well, I'm going to cast command and tell her sleep.
Okay, go ahead and roll a wisdom save.
Yeah, I gotta look at that. I gotta pull it up.
But she's drunk.
And Tark
I'm
is
drunk
super not.
and
Tark
high.
is very, very nonchalant about it.
You need to
Like,
do a wisdom saving throw.
Okay.
You need to beat 17 and you have the conditions. So does
Yeah.
she...
So just
What do I-
roll your
okay.
d20. You have a plus 0.
14.
14.
So,
So
like,
you immediately pass out in Tark's arms, who at that point just kind of dribbles the purification.
Okay, and what
piece.
kind of sleep is this? Is
Magical.
This, okay, do I dream?
This should be complete dark.
Okay.
You are just
You
out.
go from seeing this come home to complete darkness, and you wake up about 5 minutes later
in your bed.
in your bed, completely normal. You have been given a potion of lesser restoration, so your drunkenness and your high has been completely cleared from your mind.
Do I know? Can I recall whether or not that was a dream, or do I think that?
At this point, you could not discern.
So as you sit up, the room is pretty much dark. Nibs has blocked any light from the windows. You're in darkness, and there is one candle that he's sitting. You're in your bed, and he's sitting in a chair at the foot of the bed.
Yo, what does Mikhail think about all this? Going to his room, there's a candle. God.
Homie is lost in his research. He's really
mean,
mixing
he's with
some
all the
potions.
herbs.
I'm just saying.
Man's
like,
got a potion set up. You probably actually
So
attract a
he's
couple
just
people to come over and
he's just
talk
kind
with
of
you about
he's
herbs.
just sitting there holding a
Like,
candle.
he's like
I'm
lover's
assuming when you
quarrel.
wake up, you just come up
Yeah,
and you redraw. You immediately
redraw
go.
daggers.
They are there. They are back.
Yeah.
He's
And I would
returned
put
them.
it back to the wall so nothing can
Yeah,
come
as you-
behind me.
You slide up, and Nibs is sitting there, just kind of, just peacefully holding the candle
Oh, I need to roll
in one of
that.
those little,
Shit.
one of those things. He goes, Ember, look at the fire. Stare at the flame. Nothing else matters. Stare at the flame.
Nari's breath is shuddering, for sure, but she's
He's
gonna
like-
stare.
Look at the flame, Ember. Stare at the flame. Breathe in through the mouth, out through the nose. Now reverse it. Focus on the flame. Close your eyes. Focus on the flame inside of you. Do you see it? Do you see it? Do you see that ember inside of you? You're not a burnt out wreck. Your fire has not been vanquished. You have not had the water poured on you enough to put out that ember inside of you. Do you see it? Breathe out. Blow that air onto that ember. Bring it back to life. Bring it back to life. It only requires a breath of hope. For no matter what they did to your shell, they cannot vanquish that flame. Focus on the flame. Breathe life into it again.
Eloquent poetry.
That was hilarious. You're just so hyper focused on what you're doing. You're just like this emotional role play is going on, and you're like,
Well, he's still
that's
down.
a
He took me
15.
upstairs to a room.
yeah,
Yeah. Oh, your room. And I blocked out.
15.
So
okay, we'll finish
he's
this.
going to start walking you through a breathing technique as he continues to get you to meditate. And I would assume,
Nari's gonna open her eyes, reach these daggers.
yeah, and he's gonna just once you reopen your eyes, your breathing has calmed. I'm gonna use control flame and have the fire of the candle come up and just burn the wick, burn that candle bright like a Roman candle there, and go. Now we have 20s. It just burns it bright, and he goes. No matter what they do to your shell, your flame is fine. Your flame will exist. You will overcome. You will rise. You will burn like the wildfires. You will burn like the elements of that plane itself. And then as it gets snuffed out, he goes, and we will snuff that fucker out. As the candle goes out.
Defense have two separate attacks.
And he goes. And it's just quiet and darkness in the room. So, and then
Nari's gonna she's gonna harden a little bit, like her features and everything. She doesn't appear to still like be angry or
Right.
anything. Just trying to come back to a point of control. She's gonna look at you and say, "Thank you, friend," and then she's gonna leave. She's gonna go for a walk.
Okay.
She's not gonna say anything else to anybody. She's just gonna go walk.
Mikhail. So with your 15, as the day continues, at this point I'll put us about 3 or so. Drake and Warden are soon to return, as they were going to work through half of the day and then return for some final talks and preparations before the morning come, when people are expected to arrive. And you see stepping into the door a like purple-skinned tiefling, with long horns, an accentuated tail that kind of goes over and sets to the side. Are you okay?
I'm having a Charlie horse. Oh shit. Sorry, continue.
no, those are bad.
Oh fuck.
Mm.
Ow! Don't touch it. Okay.
Okay.
We're good.
I'm gonna go get some water. Go get some water.
Maybe a banana?
But this person is just acting kind of strange.
And this is the second day.
And not but 15 minutes later, this person goes, gets a room. It appears to be a she. Gets a room. Kind of lollygags around the place. seemingly setting something on a couple tables or up in corners of the room. You have no clue what that's about. But goes up to a room and seems to be very focused on what she's doing. 15 minutes later, a pair of familiar faces enter the room.
Uh-oh.
Ahead of schedule. As you see both Marquet Liath and Kent step into the room. Or Finch, I apologize, not Kent.
You're gone. Nibs will be back
Yeah.
downstairs in the
So
room.
you said
with him.
Finch and
Finch and Marquet.
Okay. So Nibs clocks them as they walk in.
Yeah.
Am I back?
You will be back here in the evening, and so will Drake.
Oh, okay.
Because you guys were working full days, and you don't really get off until...
But I don't recognize the purple tiefling.
You do not recognize the purple tiefling.
Oops.
Oops.
Oh, well.
Oops.
So, stepping into the room to describe them for you guys, as only 2 members here know of these people who I'm speaking. Marquet is a fairly bulky, probably somewhere in early 60s at this point, just grizzled dude. Jet black beard that at this point is mostly being overtaken by gray. He's wearing a thick set of studded leather armor. He's got a warhammer on his back. He looks like the dude that, you know the saying, beware the old man in a young man's game? He personifies that to a T. And beside him is Finch. Finch, these are both humans. Finch is young. Finch is probably very, very early 20s. He's got nothing but a robe and a set of glasses on him and a book under his shoulder. And he's very jittery, very twitchy. And the pair of them kind of peer around. What form are you in right now?
I'll be my normal regular
Kenku. So you're the first one that they clock as they step in. And Marquet kind of nods to you and kind of motions to take your time, get your whole potion set up, packed up, and they go over to the side, they get a room, they order some food and drinks to a table and go off to the side and sit.
Nibs is gonna, again, sitting there watching and get up and wander over to your table and go, you might tell them on the talkie that our clients are here, or our bosses, I guess.
An important thing to denote in this is, Nibs, you have much less of a relationship with these people
Yeah.
than Mikhail
Yeah.
and the rest of them.
Yeah.
I would probably also mention the bit about the purple tiefling coming in, how that was kind of
Yeah,
sus.
Nibs, I'm assuming with a 9 insight, probably clocked that if he's just sitting watching things.
I mean, what I was saying is, this was while you were waiting for Nari to wake up.
Oh, okay.
And you
So
come down as these people are kind of coming in, they clock Mikhail, they go sit down.
Okay. Alright.
So I'm basically just kind of filling you in on the purple tiefling.
Can
I roll like an insight potentially to see just how
what tables she went to?
how much I discern as to
Figure out
whether
what
it's
range
like
it
a neutral or an aggressive
Go ahead, roll an insight.
act of putting whatever it was on the table?
Go ahead, roll an insight.
I think that's a 7. Let me see if I can find the one.
Let me see this. Let me see it.
It's the one underneath my.
Yeah, that's the 7. The one's right next to it.
Oh, nice. Okay. So
Not to get
7.
confused.
Plus like 9, right?
Insight is 10.
10, so 17.
Oh yeah.
Expertise.
Damn.
Expertise goes hard.
Insight and deception are my 2 best skills.
Yeah. So, it is not aggressive. It is neutral. But you do not know what this person was setting around the room. But with a 17 insight, I mean, it's not aggressive. It doesn't seem to be focused on one aspect or one table. It's kind of just corners of the room, sections and areas, and then going up to her room.
Okay. With a 17, would it be safe for me to assume that it's not like explosives of any kind?
It was not large enough to be
Okay.
explosives, or at least not of the manufacturer.
Can
type.
you point one of the tables out to Nibs, or just kind of gesture? Nibs will walk over to see if there's any sigils or any magical stuff there.
Okay.
And maybe
Okay.
they were trying to watch.
Go ahead and
Investigation, insight, arcana.
roll a. I'm trying to decide on whether I want it to be sleight of hand or a performance on what you would be rolling here, just to kind of go over and search, but not make it obvious that you're searching. We'll go ahead and say
Sleight of
sleight
hand.
of hand.
That's a grand whopping 7.
Grand whopping 7. You're not the smoothest about it. One of the item that you decided to go for is under a table, and you didn't realize how far down it was towards the base. It's kind of stuck up in there. So you were just kind of like trying to do this, swipe it as you go by, but you kind of end up doing that slowly as you go
And then
by.
I just just walk under the table.
And then you kind of just still don't reach it with your tiny arms, and so you like peek underneath and you go and grab it. It's a tuft of hair.
No.
I'm gonna look at it.
Oh my god, no.
What is it?
Shut up.
I get a shrug and go. Can I roll Arcana on it?
At disadvantage. I would not say this is something Nibs is specifically in tune with the knowledge of.
It's a reference to something else that I can't talk about.
Yeah,
So,
don't talk about it. It's so much more fun.
Metagaming.
With disadvantage, it's 19.
With disadvantage, it's 19?
I rolled 16 and 15, and I've got a +4.
Okay.
Hey,
Well,
Yeah.
the DC to know a lot was 20.
So
Um,
I know it's magical.
you know it is magical, and you can, like, sense slight enchantment kind of features from it.
I'll just kind of look at it and shrug and.
A little bit of transmutative as well.
Are you gonna eat it?
Oh my god.
No.
The hair is
Nibs.
dark and twisted.
Nibs is small,
Yeah, short
so that
curlies.
makes it a bit of clump.
Mm-hmm.
But Nibs is gonna look at it, and
Thomas just asked if it was pubes.
So it was dark and twisted.
No, it is not
I
pubes.
said she got him by the short girlies.
he's gonna look at it, sigh, walk over towards the. Do they have a fireplace?
Yes, there is a fireplace.
I'm gonna walk over by it, and then let's see if I'm gonna throw it in the fire. I am gonna walk up and then act like I'm gonna throw it in the fire, and just drop it down on the floor next, not in the fire, but just kind of just like I threw it, but it doesn't hit the fire, and like lands next to it.
As you have your arm go back, you hear in your mind, "Oh, let it be. I'm just trying to have a little bit of fun."
And I just drop it down, missing the fire. It's like. Nibs is gonna kind of look over at you, and he's just got this look on his face. You have not seen this one before. This is like when a 2-year-old is trying to poop and says, "No, I'm not," you know. It's kind of like that on it. It's,
That's so descriptive, yet everyone knows what you're talking about.
you know that is just a.
Yep.
I'm slightly violated, but this is interesting. You know.
I'm slightly violated, but this is interesting.
So he's gonna drop the hair, and he's gonna reach down and pick it up again,
This ain't some sort of voodoo shit. I don't have hair.
and he's gonna. That 20.
Oh my gosh.
Let's go.
That's just deciding what he's gonna do.
So, Nibs is gonna go. Sighing. It's not the same color as the tiefling, is it?
The
You wouldn't have
tiefling
seen
did have black. It was described by Mikael.
But we passed on the stairs and I came down.
Yeah, you came down nearby. You probably saw her. I mean, it does not look the same. The tiefling had like smooth
Okay, so
longer dark hair.
I'm gonna bring it up. I'm gonna bring it up to my nose. I'm gonna smell it just a little. Take in there.
It smells wrong.
I'm gonna look at it and go. So, are you all that's left of her last victim, or did she trap the soul of you in this hair?
That is so fucking weird. Just set it down and let it be. We'll meet at some point, I'm sure.
It's gonna look back over at you. Look back there. Walk back over to the table. Look around very obviously. you know, not trying to hide it all. He's just gonna look around.
Have you already
I see you
noted
looking
for
for
us
the
to
other
co-
one.
And
to come-
then he's gonna go back under the table. And instead of putting it where she did it, he's just gonna find like this, what he thinks is a better spot to hide.
Okay.
And he's just gonna start shoving it in there.
Okay.
And then he's gonna take some chicken out of his arm, out of his thing, and kind of just like poke it up in there with the chicken, so it's all greasy.
Okay.
And then he's gonna leave the bone with it clogged up into a hole in there. And it's like, that ought to do you better. That way, no one, if someone finds you, they won't know what the fuck you are. He goes, and you'll definitely
Have you
know.
already mentioned that we need to come back because of our
And
clients
then,
being there?
and then I'm
At this point,
just gonna
he
walk. I'm just gonna
spoke to the tokens, which at this point Warden would know.
and,
Drake wouldn't.
I thought we gave him
Yeah,
his rock.
yeah. When we came
Oh,
back,
you guys did. So Drake would know. Drake would hear. Drake's a little farther out though, because he's out in the.
You gave me a
trails.
rock?
Yeah, we gave you a rock before we teleported.
You guys they gave you Nibs' rock.
Oh. I'll add that.
And then there's also a rock that I have that connects directly to Zareth. But anyways.
Yeah.
Nibs is just gonna kind
Right about
of
here.
walk over to your table. No, I'm gonna walk up to the bartender and go, "I want some fucking brownies." I'm just gonna drop. I'm gonna drop some a gold down for a plate.
Okay, so it's
Four
four
gold
gold
per brownie.
per brownie, and a plate is 4 brownies.
Okay, I'll drop a platinum.
Okay, so he'll give you the discount, and he kind of pulls out the plate and kind of wiggles a potion of lesser restoration and says, "If you start to feel things or see things and would like to rather not, just let me know."
I'm gonna take a drink of it now. I'll just take the brownie, stuff in my arm, walk back, pull the chicken out, stick my finger in, and go, "Are you still talking to me?"
No response.
Stick the chicken.
I would
back
like to
up.
say that Nari's probably come back by now.
Yeah, and you
Nari's
just-
probably coming down as he goes,
Well-
like crawls underneath a chair of like
It
this
starts-
elf who's like, "What are you doing? This is the third time you've been under this table. Are you trying to look up my skirt?"
Is it-
Nari's
like,
gonna walk
It's
in.
like, no, I'm talking to the chicken leg that I put in the hair.
How
That's
many of the
definitely
brownies
when
have
Nari
you
walks
eaten?
in. Nari walks in hearing that.
And he goes, enough, quit talking. And then he comes walking out with half the potion. He goes, at least he quit talking to me. And he's gonna just walk back over and pull one of the brownies out and look at it and go. I walk up to you and go, how potent is this shit? I mean, I didn't even eat one and I'm hearing things.
I'm just gonna kind of look at you and then kind of look at the brownie and be like, give you like a squint, like a, I don't know what you're talking about. They're potent, but they're not contact high potent. That's what you're asking.
So I don't even have skin. He's like, got
Nari's gonna be
scales.
immediately mad because when she got high, he put her to sleep. But he's talking random shit and nobody's doing fucking anything about it.
I'm gonna
Nari's
look
gonna be seething now.
I've got half a potion left, and it's like, I didn't even eat a brownie, and I had to drink some of this to fix it.
Nari's gonna walk up to him, be like, and like try to take the potion and just kind of observant, and then she's gonna give him a huge slap across the face. See if she can get him to wake the fuck out of whatever his issue is.
Of damage.
You gotta hit this monk. I got an AC.
Yeah, go ahead and
19.
roll hit.
I mean, I'm not gonna dodge, but just take it on, just make an attack on me.
Rolling for a 17.
I go back to my work momentarily to finish up the last potion that I was working on while they're doing this. Not even really paying attention to them.
I'm gonna let her hit me.
So you go. It doesn't deal any damage because you kind of try.
Yeah, I'm not
dodges
trying to,
and then
I'm
it's
just trying
like.
to, get him to.
So you get a boonk upside the head.
And then I'm gonna gently hand this half potion back to him.
Is Warden and is Trek coming back?
Trek at this point is making his way back. We're gonna finish this and then skip to when everyone's back and then begin conversation.
So I'm just gonna take the brownies out and go. I just bought enough so I could get the potion, and I hand it to you.
Nice. So
You did take 10 brownies or whatever.
4 more brownies.
4 more brownies, yeah. Okay.
As they're fighting, I'm finishing up my last potion about that point, and I just stand up at my table, both hands in the air, and yell, "Fuck yes!" And then I kind of look around, realizing that I actually did it, and I'm like, and I just start packing up all my shit.
As you say that, there's like a halfling right on the table. Oi, bucket! Quiet! Alright, we're trying to play a game. Alright, requires concentration.
You're fine. I just made the best potion ever.
Happy for you. Go talk to your tree huggers about it, alright?
Wait, is this the halfling?
kind of whip
Yeah.
Is
them
this
off.
the halfling?
Mm-hmm.
Nori's gonna say something. Nori's gonna say, that's funny from coming from someone
66 healing potion.
who's shorter than my dick.
Oi! What the hell? You! Fire Genasi, eh? Fire Genasi? You? Bro,
Fire
not
Genasi
even your
up
father...
ass.
Not even your father's got flames taller than me, alright? You shut the hell up, alright? Go back to where you came from, alright? Wherever that is. We don't want you burning the tavern down just because you're getting a little heated with someone.
I only said shit.
Nibs is gonna look back down at the half-drinking potion, look around at everyone, and go,
At this point, Warden
boom!
steps in.
I'm just gonna slam the rest of the potion
You're gonna slam the rest of it?
because I think I'm like this.
Hallucinating the
Yeah, I
stuff that's
still
going
think
on.
this is. I still don't. It's like I didn't even eat a fucking brownie, and then I'm gonna drain the rest of it. Yeah.
So, a small vocal squirrel, but over the next like 15 minutes, both Trake and Warden come in. Warden first, Trake following about 5 minutes later. And there's no physical altercation, but there's a lot of words thrown back and forth. A lot of pointing and yelling.
Is the guy smoking anything?
Is he smoking anything? No, he is not. He is just drinking.
Okay. No cigarette.
puff.
No
Nah.
pipe.
Yes,
Wait,
Warden?
he's waving? Never mind.
I'm gonna say, so typically, to help with training independence in my arms, my second set of arms, my new set of arms, I keep kind of like crossed behind my back, kind of holding each other like that.
Yeah.
One, it lessens the appearance of having 4 arms, and 2, it keeps them together.
It
and
keeps them
the
different
other-
from the other
yeah,
two
it keeps
as well.
them different from the other two.
Okay.
So, unless someone like actually looks at me.
Very prim, pristine, and proper military.
Two arms are moving freely, and the other 2 are just.
So, when you walk in, you're gonna walk in. Nibs is gonna kind of look at you, and come walking over to you, and he's gonna stop, and cock his head the other way, and then he's gonna walk behind you and go, "Fucking hell! The potion didn't work. You got another set of arms."
You've known this already.
I didn't. He didn't. I rolled. He didn't notice shit because he was high on the magic, and then we teleported back.
He's
and he
had them
left.
for a while.
I've had them for at least a couple days now.
Yes, but so I came in. You didn't have them when you had them after when I came back from the lightning time.
Yes.
However, the very next morning we transported out.
Yeah.
And then you took off to go work. I have
So-
not.
You've been in the room with him during the
I haven't
interrogation.
rolled good.
Okay.
I did not roll good enough to notice it.
Oh,
Nibs
well.
was out of. He wasn't that perceptive, so he's just now. Like I said, I've been rolling to see if he recognizes it because you mentioned you did your arms, and I'm like, Nibs missed it.
Yeah.
So,
So extra set of arms.
so Nibs is just gonna kind of grab your I guess your fingers, your thumbs, and I'm just kind of gonna pull up and then stand in your hands and go
on my back,
on the back of your
You
hands.
still don't quite see over his shoulder.
underneath my cloak.
Well, yeah, because you walk up, I kind of reach up. I flip it up when I walk around because and I look at it and I just kind of climb up and I'm like, they feel real. Damn, I didn't even have a stinking. I'm muttering to myself about brownies and how there's arms, and stuff. It's like that I'm gonna kind of just like crawl up on under your cloak and come out here and I'm gonna hand you the bottle and go, was this real shit? A real restore? Or am I just insane? Which
That would be an Arcana check. Very quickly.
At
Sorry.
this point,
It's pretty
you
obvious.
guys all hear in your mind a young but fairly firm voice say, well, are we going to talk or no?
Nari's rolling her eyes at all this already with Nibs, so she's just gonna.
Drake, you do not hear that, just FYI.
Are you there yet, Trax?
He
Do
is-
I know?
he
do
is
I
there.
know who came in?
Well, you would know. When
You
you
know
see
that
it.
people came in, that you're
Do I know what they
your
look like?
quarry. Yeah, you do.
Okay, so then I'll just go up to their table.
Okay, so Nari steps over to their booth.
Nibs is
I'll take
gonna
a seat.
finish crawling up and sit on your shoulder.
I'm just gonna think back. Yeah, I'll be there in a second. I'm just packing up as I finish packing up the rest of my herbals and stuff.
A translucent green hand starts handing you things.
Ah, nice. Thanks, buddy.
So Trek's back.
So Drake is back. Drake is not known by these people, so he is, unless he follows you guys over, he does not necessarily receive the invite to, but is capable of joining you guys if he just notices you guys moving over there.
Warden.
The Drake laid down on a bench. If I start moving, he'll join you, but he's not doing anything right now.
Okay. So is he gonna go to the table with them, or is he just gonna chill?
Table, but taking over a human-sized spot by laying down.
What? What did you just say?
At the table, you know how they have benches?
Yeah.
The gnomes are small.
He's just gonna lay down.
He's
on
just
the
gonna.
He's taking up
Okay, so he
human-sized
goes and
spot.
lays down. At this point, you guys kind of step over, and the younger one, whose code name to you guys is Little Bird, but his name is Finch. He kind of says, "Well, we were able to get here a little bit quicker than anticipated, so I guess that's good. How have you guys progressed since last communication?"
Nibs is gonna hand him a. He was while he was sitting there, he was writing basically a spreadsheet, basically a quick spreadsheet reference. Or what's the thing where it's got bullet points? Like
PowerPoint?
like a
PowerPoint?
a report or a yeah. It's a summary of what has happened, what they know, key events and stuff that's not been updated in the book.
When was the last time we talked to them?
Nibs has been chatting with them in the book.
In
When
and
was
out,
he
but
referring to last contact?
he was referring to last
2 days.
contact probably for them a couple weeks ago, as
When-
they specifically did not have a book to you guys.
So when he did the whole bup out thing?
Yeah.
Yes.
Mid journey.
Okay.
He might know a little bit. He would probably know ever since you guys exited. Like, he knew when you guys exited. But after that, they do not know of anything. So,
Basically,
Tavern fight with the Huntsman on. He does not know that fight or anything
Okay.
past that.
basically bullet points are the major power. One of the factions here, our old owners, want to pursue releasing them.
Okay.
We got our collars off. The timer has started, copy of the contract, what is required, the list of requirements. In our pursuit to try to free slaves, prior to this all, we ticked off this organization, and they are hunting us specifically. And then the information down below about the guy who can do the paperwork and what the cost would be, where he is, and who to tell them is there. Also, a little summary on the laws for property buying of slaves, how to get a collar, all the information he's gathered, short, condensed.
Okay.
One page.
They both kind of take a quick peek at that, and you three kind of know these people. Mikhail, you probably have the closest relationship with them, but it's not necessarily close. The Consortium is a fairly large organization at this point.
I've seen them.
Yeah, you guys have seen them. You guys have maybe had a conversation or two with them. While it is large, it is still very personable. Marquet generally doesn't talk much. Marquet, the older guy. He's Old Soul is his code name. When did that happen? So, after reading through this, he says, "All right. So where to now for you?"
I'm just gonna kind of look at everyone and go, well, it kind of depends. Yeah, you hurried and got the Giraffe's blood for us. But is this something that you all want us to pursue? Is the library, it's like, has this changed people's objectives?
From how I see it, from where we're at right now, and with what I know from what William and Kent and Garnon and the rest were thinking when we left, I don't see a particular reason as to not. Creatures of incredibly high power with us, and with what knowledge we have pertained and what knowledge it seems you have pertained, have power and possibly willingness to help with our cause, while destruction would be caused. How I see it, personally. Me and Finch are here to get a bit of a boost. Two of the other teams are dead, and one of them's barely alive, struggling down in Zareth. They've got a group with them. A whole bunch of different people, but only a couple hundred, really. And they need help, they need more money, they need more manpower, and me and Finch are here to both bring you this and help them out. We brought some others with us as well that'll help. We only have so much that we can spare outside of Jokala and the Katana Empire as a whole. But with what we could and what we felt we could has been brought here to try and build enough of a resistance to where a evacuation of the continent would be possible, but a free evacuation if it be so necessary. We would prefer it not come to that, but freeing this place would mean this place is free. But that does little to help back home. If everyone's freed here and then has to go back home, that's a different story. That could cause some real change.
Or they'll just be enslaved all over again.
On a quick side note, you wouldn't happen to be familiar with a purple tiefling, would you?
Yes and no. We'll save that for another day.
Neutral? Friend?
Friend?
Fair enough. Good enough for me.
She's a secretive type. Doesn't like talking all that much.
Clearly.
Unless she really likes talking. Depends on the day.
Nibs is gonna go kind of just look lean off the shoulder a little bit. Take a little sniff. Is this one of the tables that she marked?
Yes.
Nibs is gonna hop off the shoulder, go underneath, see if he can find the hair.
As you go underneath, that green translucent hand is already there, waggling its fingers no.
He's gonna look at it. He's gonna come back out.
Ari's gonna look
I'm laying on the table. Do I see him do that?
You see the hand, yeah.
He sees this hand doing the wiggling in front of you,
Just-
and I'm gonna look over at Trek and go. I just kind of hold up the empty bottle and go, "This shit doesn't work." And then I'm just gonna shove it up my sleeve, look at the finger a little bit oddly, and then crawl out from underneath the table.
As you are down doing that, Marquet continues.
Yeah. Nibs is just didn't care about the rest of the conversation at the moment after he got the answer. He's for it, and you guys are that. So
With everything that your exploration entails in the fold and with the Encyclocratus, you no longer are required to be a part of the revolution. That is up to you. At this point, you acquiring the help of the Titans or any other technology inside of there is up to you on whether that's your primary goal.
did they ever figure out the control mechanism on the collars?
We have not completely figured it out, no. It is not necessarily beyond us, but it takes time. Remember, you have only been here but a month.
Do you know if the other controller, do you all or do the other groups have any of the controllers? Do we still need those?
I can't give you an answer right now. I have to get some communication. I have set up nothing here. I have no communication lines to the surviving members of the beginnings of this revolution. I need time. Probably at least a week or two to set things up in the proper way. We have other contacts here. We have people that we can bribe, that we can put in, that are in positions of power, that we can put there, that can help begin some of this, but the foundation is always going to be number of hands and minds on this. And that's what we'll be working on. I see, and as far as I know, the others of the Consortio see the Titans release as not an absolute win, as it will cause some destruction and mayhem in certain parts of the world and the multiverse as a whole. But for us, at least, is primarily a win.
The ends justify the means.
They certainly can. Depends on what means they are. These means, yes.
Interesting. And with that, I'm just gonna go and sit on the bench next to our sleeping gnome and check out of the conversation for a while.
Okay. At that point, Marquet is going to open up his bag of holding and pull out one of the jars. It is a thick, ugly, coagulated red mixture inside, of which he sets it back in the bag, ties it up, and hands the bag of holding over. Says there are some other supplies in there, just general things, some potions, just some health potions and such. Primarily in there is money and the vials of Drass blood. Or bottles, gallons, should I say, because there's 5 gallons in there. It was a quick mission, but quick heist. Let's just say the Brothers of Cat ain't always that happy to relinquish their treasured goods. But we got it done quick and came this way as quickly as we could.
I'm gonna lean over to Trek and
Made
say,
good headwinds.
cats are never in a good mood. When he talks about the Brothers of Cat, they weren't very helpful. He's like, I'm just gonna make snarky comments about cats and just twist things, and I'm seeing if I can get. I'm doing it quietly. I'm seeing if I can get a reaction out of Trek.
So that's a bag of
Rick
holding
is
they handed
exhausted.
over?
It is
I
a bag
know.
of holding.
Okay.
And it's going to have the vials of Jurassic blood. They're going to hand it to you as your technically team lead for this group. Whether that is how things have turned out or not. There's also going to be another 10 potions of healing and another 1,000 gold in there.
Damn, dog.
I need all of them.
What was this about potions earlier in the session, though?
I already added them to your character sheet. It's just health potions that Ventar gave you at the end of last session.
Oh.
How many potions?
10.
10
10
are
regular.
standard.
Standard, yeah.
You do superior or superb?
Superior, not supreme. Superior. So the blue ones, not the purple
Thank
ones. However, Marquet says, well, we are going to begin our trek down to Zerth. He hands you guys a sending stone, to him particularly. If you all do end up going to the Plane of Flames, it will not work, as these do not go interplanarly. But
Will Arden work in the family?
as long as you are on the same plane
As
as the
the-
rock you are
okay.
attempting to communicate
Okay.
with, yes. But as soon as you return, let us know and we will try to link up with you, whether that be in Dwinder or Zerth on Turum or here in Kar.
They just give us another rock.
How many jugs of Jurassic blood?
5.
Okay.
5 gallons. 1 gallon jugs, 5 jugs. However, we need to get on the move. Last we knew, there was a group of huntsmen and a sect of Dwendalin, I don't know, City Guard, King's Guard, something fancy that we're going down to Zerth to try and exterminate this group. So we're going to try and get down there and help them as soon as we can. So, that is our plan. I wish you luck with what you're doing. And he holds up the rock. Be in touch, if you can. And he kind of knocks down, and the tab gets brought over, and he kind of sets gold down, plus a tip. And then they bid you guys farewell unless you have any other questions.
We'll go ahead and put the sending stone in the bag with the other stuff.
Man, how many Rocky Talkies do we have?
That's
He
just
has
2.
2. You
I
have
have
2.
2.
Everybody else except Nibs has 1.
So,
Okay.
Hold on, Rocky Talkies don't work in a bag of holding. I'm sticking that in my backpack.
yeah, I was gonna say, don't put it in your bag of holding.
I love
So
how you
we're
just stared, like,
You know,
sure you
like,
wanna do it.
I'm tired. Leave me alone.
So we are going to
Yeah.
go ahead and end there, with expectation of finishing conversing as a party, because we're already pretty late. Finishing conversing as a party, taking a long rest, and then prepping and deciding where around or inside the city of Brass you guys will be teleporting to. So, any final closing remarks?
Not really.
Everyone
Rick
rest
had an
well.
idea,
What'd you say, Drake?
or Rick has an idea for the start of next time. It was brainstorming what they should do before going to the guys.
Okay.
But
Well,
we'll get to that.
I was hoping to be in the city of Brass like last session. So hopefully next session we can get there and begin starting.
I
things.
think we should be there.
Yes.
So.
I reckon we'll be able to make it there pretty
I'm
easy
gonna
this session.
I'm gonna work pretty hard to get us there at least by mid-session, so that we can have some time there developing your foundation. And primarily, the big decision that you guys have to make is whether you want it to be like a psyop and spend time there really developing yourselves, maybe spending some time around your targets, figuring out their schedules,
Or if it's just a quick in
their
and
best
out.
time, or if it's as soon as we find this target, we find the first time that they are alone and try and kill them. Those are two polar opposites that, as I have said, we will have to discuss at the beginning of the next session, and that will ending of that discussion will greatly depend on how much detail I put into the city, because this could be 6 sessions, this could be 1 session, probably more like 3 sessions, because the combat alone for the devil is going to be 1 session.
Devil will be a session.
Hold on, this bush might be even more broken than I thought. So if my modifier for this ingredient says double the dice rolled, but remove the modifier bonus, this modifier can stack, would it be doubled and then doubled again, or would it just be doubled the first?
It would be quadrupled.
So like a normal healing potion crafted is 2d4 plus alchemy modifier.
Yeah.
If I use one of the other one, then it would become 4d4, no modifier. If I used a second one, would that be 6d4 or
That'd be 8d4.
8d4?
That'd be 8d4.
Fuck.
I hope it's
Okay.
a poison.
No, this is a healing potion that does 8d6 healing. Because I used another one that...
That's a
ups the
fireball of
dice.
healing. An
It's
average of
literally-
29.
Yeah, it's a fireball of healing.
I mean, you guys have superiors, which are 8d4 plus 8, which is, your maximum of 40. Your average of around
Yeah.
close to 30. So, with that, I'm gonna go ahead and end the recording.